This feudal lord is highly scientific. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 526 5-Color Furnace Meditation Method. Thatcher could foresee that the arena would welcome a new star. Originally, she just wanted to take a look at the elephant people in her spare time, but she didn't expect to discover a human who knew a new fighting style. Yes, a new fighting style. This fighting style only relies on the power of fists and feet, but it has the ability to win big with a small one. With the weak body of that human, he could move the elephant people. So what if he was given a star level strongman? Wouldn't he be able to fight against the legend? Of course, Thatcher also knew that this was unrealistic, but she was still surprised. Not only her, there were only a dozen people in the novice arena, and now all of them stood up at once. And the elephant man artist below fainted in the last uppercut he gave himself. It seems that artist, who came to participate in the fight to complete the coming of age ceremony, has declared failure in the first stop. But among our newcomers, there is an extraordinary gladiator. He is Sparta. The host's voice sounded, and more than a dozen spectators stood up and applauded. Sparta. Sparta defeated the underage elephant man of the elephant people. At this time, the victorious Sparta was very calm and just walked out. Thatcher hurriedly chased after him. She was wearing a popular hip-wrapped long skirt. The black lace skirt tightly wrapped her body, and she trotted seductively. However, the dozen or so spectators had no time to pay attention to Thatcher, but paid close attention to the human gladiator named Sparta. They also wanted to fight for this potential stock. However, in the end, they failed. Even the fastest runner did not see Sparta. Because the Sparta seemed to be a professional and started the second game without any rest. So they went to the next arena without stopping, including Thatcher. The matching rule of the arena is that people with similar or the same number of consecutive wins will compete against each other, and people with similar or the same winning rate will compete against each other. Therefore, it is nothing if there are many people who win the first game. People who win 3 games in a row are lucky, but it is difficult to win 5 games or more in a row. And these spectators, including Thatcher, all thought that Sparta had the potential to win 10 games in a row, even if not today, then one day in the future. This was only the second game, and these spectators encountered such an opportunity. Of course they wanted to witness it from the beginning, which was one of the reasons why they came to the novice field. The 30 or so spectators who were originally present saw the others rushing in, and immediately understood something, so they looked down the field one by one. Mrs. Thatcher, are you looking for a new male servant again? Just as Mrs. Thatcher came over, a girl in a pink skirt stood up with 2 muscular men on her left and right. The girl was charming, and there was a thick tail behind her buttocks, which was dressed in pink silk, and there was a servant behind her who specially lifted her tail lightly. Queen of Pink Street. Oh, Stuart tastes good, right? I forgot to tell you last time that, although he is a minotaur, the beginning is equal to the end. Thatcher's original trotting posture changed, and a noble and arrogant temperament was revealed. Before her Viscount husband died, she was a legitimate Viscountess, one of them. Naturally, she had the arrogance of an aristocrat. Stuart, the woman known as the Queen of Pink Street, narrowed her eyes. This name represents a strong minotaur she snatched from Thatcher. Unfortunately, the minotaur was a rookie who would spray at the slightest touch and was useless. That's a coincidence. Stuart's bull tongue is thick and long. The Queen of Pink Street chuckled. Oh. Haha, you dragon people. It is said that there are scales there, right? Isn't he afraid of scratches? Haha. Mrs. Thatcher smiled slightly and continued to fight back. While the two were confronting each other, the 2 gladiators below also entered the arena. One was the human gladiator Sparta just now. The other was a male enchantress. The male enchantress had a strong body, and the muscles on the upper body were sharp and angular, but the skin was white, smooth, and elastic. It seems that this enchantress is the one you've taken a fancy to. TSK, I haven't tasted the taste of enchantresses for many times. The Queen of Pink Street looked at the beautiful enchantress below, especially at the enchantress's body. Her eyes lit up. Although Thatcher felt a little thirsty when looking at the male enchantress, her attention was still on the Sparta. Sparta was her prey. At this time, after the host announced the start, the two people below also started fighting. Although the male enchantress had a strong body and delicate skin, she roared and turned into a black giant wolf in an instant. The Queen of Pink Street looked at the second half of the giant wolf. Her eyes lit up again. Not bad. Then she glanced at Thatcher and said, "He's mine." Thatcher didn't bother to pay attention to her, but stared at Sparta, looking forward to the previous scene. Sure enough, the giant wolf transformed by the enchantress flew down towards Sparta, but Sparta still made a weird gesture. Just by stroking, pulling, and pushing, he hit the giant wolf's head against the ground. And it seemed that Sparta's face was not red and his heart was not beating. He almost didn't consume much energy, and didn't even breathe, as if he just casually slapped a fly. There was no big move, no punches and kicks, and no punches. Sparta seemed to have simply touched the mane of a wild horse, and the giant wolf transformed by the enchantress fell asleep there. Seeing this, the audience exclaimed, "Lava above. What is that? I swear, there must be nothing wrong with my eyes. Too powerful. This is a different kind of power." The audience exclaimed, but it annoyed the enchantress giant wolf who was dizzy just now. So he shook his head twice, then stood up from the ground, opened his bloody mouth, and pounced again. Roar. He was extremely angry, and pointed his claws at Sparta's throat, as if he could tear it apart in the next moment. It's not that people haven't died in the arena, but it seems more real, because of the deaths. However, Sparta was not afraid. He looked at the giant wolf's claws calmly. His hands shot out in an instant, caught one of the giant wolf's arms, and then twisted his waist at an extremely fast speed, and threw it over his shoulder. Bang! The body of the giant wolf enchantress was thrown to the ground, and she couldn't get up for a while. Then, Sparta slowly exhaled, and there was a special breath in that breath, and there was a flash of 5-color light in his eyes. In the stands, the Queen of Pink Street naturally knew who Thatcher's target was. But when she saw the breath from Sparta's mouth, her pupils trembled. That is, the 5-color furnace. Chapter 527, the 10th game. Yamake Catwoman. As a dragon of the sub-dragon species, the Queen of Pink Street was originally just a humble mercenary. Who knew that by chance, she became the Queen of Pink Street in a certain city. When the Great Wasteland City was opened, she came here as soon as possible and set up a place similar to Pink Street, specializing in foot washing and massage, and abandoned the previous flesh trade. Now she lives a very comfortable life, but everyone still calls her the Queen of Pink Street, because they are used to it. However, one of the reasons why she became the Queen of Pink Street was just because she joined the Scarlet Great Wasteland. Because the sub-dragon blood in her body came from a land dragon, and the source of the blood of that land dragon turned out to be a land dragon born from the grandfather of Maid under the command of the 5-colored dragon mother when she was a princess and her lover outside. Therefore, the Queen of Pink Street happens to know some ancient secrets. For example, the 5-colored dragon mother achieved the black and white body of the royal physique of the dragon clan at level 15. She not only has the physique of a black dragon, but also has the magic power of a white dragon. This is nothing. When the 5-colored dragon mother reached the 18th level of epic, she directly became a 5-color dragon body of black, white, red, green, and blue. This is unprecedented in the history of the dragon clan. Magic of the same level and below is completely ineffective against her, and she is invulnerable to all kinds of magic. The 5-colored dragon mother's physical body is so strong that she was able to capture the sleepless emperor alive. What is even more shocking is that after becoming a legend, the 5-colored dragon mother created a meditation method which was inspired by her 5-color dragon body and is called the 5-colored furnace meditation method. This meditation method is used to temper the physical body and allow the physical body to grow in the process. Back then, the 5-colored dragon mother also let her relatives, including her mates, try it, but unfortunately no one succeeded. But the Queen of Pink Street knew that the breath and light in the eyes of that Sparta were the signs of the successful use of the 5-colored furnace meditation method. This Sparta knows the exclusive meditation method of the 5-colored dragon mother. The Queen of Pink Street was shocked. This meditation method had long been extinct back then, and only those who passed down the secret from generation to generation knew these things. Now, there are only a few people who can teach others the 5-color furnace meditation method privately. If you think about it more carefully, the Queen of Pink Street's size condensed. That being was bored, so he came to fight in his own arena. Thinking of this, the Queen of Pink Street forced herself to suppress her excitement, emotion, impulse, etc., and patted the male servant behind her and the 2 bodyguards beside her. You sit further away. Then she tried her best to show a gentle and elegant appearance, with 3 parts of shyness, 3 parts of reserve, and 4 parts of excitement on her face, looking at Sparta, who had just finished the battle below. If he looks over later, I must not embarrass myself. The Queen of Pink Street thought carefully in her heart, but the more she thought, the more confused she became. She just felt that she shouldn't wear this outfit today, shouldn't bring bodyguards, shouldn't wear heavy makeup. There are too many things she shouldn't do. Such a great person must not like people from Pink Street, right? But what if it is a person with a pure heart? But, am I pure in heart? The Queen of Pink Street was getting more and more confused, her face getting redder and redder, and finally she couldn't help biting her lower lip. Bodyguard. Manservant. Thatcher. After the game, the Queen of Pink Street restrained the thought of going forward to snatch the man from Thatcher. She knew that the man could not be snatched away. It was impossible for him to become her subordinate. She might not even be qualified to be his subordinate. Thatcher didn't know, so she had such an idea, but she didn't. Of course, the game still had to be watched. As expected, the adult came here and really didn't rest for a moment, but continued to fight. So, they were able to continue watching. Whether it was the Elephant Man or the Enchantress, whether it was the Conifer tribe or the Frost Wolf, or the human, all were defeated by the hands of Sparta. Between the push and pull, it seemed that a new law was flowing. Every day, new spectators discovered Sparta and went to watch Sparta's fights. Unfortunately, Sparta would leave after the end of each day, and no one had ever found him. A few days later, Sparta had its 10th gladiatorial match. If it won the 10th match, it would be 10 consecutive wins. 10 consecutive wins, that is the basis of 100 consecutive wins. 100 consecutive wins, that is the mark of a gladiator master. After 10 consecutive wins, the arena will also issue a junior gladiator badge. In addition to the badge, there are even coin rewards. That's not all. By then, countless advertisers in Dahuang City and even the entire Nasan may come to the door. In addition to advertisers, there may also be noble ladies and even noble masters themselves. Therefore, this battle is crucial. This is the first step on the road to becoming a master. Audience, I'm the host Thomas. Today we have 2 gladiator warriors who have won 9 consecutive games in the arena again. They will compete for new junior gladiators here. The host's voice was passionate, and the arena also responded with cheers. Sparta, 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 Athena, Athena, Athena. In the arena, the audience's voices were higher and higher. Unlike the first match, the audience seats were packed for this battle of 9 consecutive wins to 10 consecutive wins. Men and women, people and animals were in the audience seats, roaring and trying their best to vent their enthusiasm. Others were waving their betting tickets and shouting wildly about the candidates they bet on. The crazy voices resounded throughout the arena, and in this cheering, 2 gladiators entered the arena. On one side was Sparta, who has been very popular recently. Sparta was wearing loose and comfortable silk clothes, standing quietly with his eyes closed, which was nothing like the muscular gladiators with 8 abdominal muscles showing, and seemed out of place. On the other side was a female cat from Yamakut. Yamakut is a jungle in the Holy Life Alliance. There are many tribes in it, including several mixed tribes. It is inhabited by people ranging from upper life tiger people to slave life and servants, and they are generally cats. And cat people are one of the most powerful races in the Yamakut jungle, known for their flexibility and the toxins applied to cat claws. Judging from the previous battles of Sparta, a large-scale force attack is too cumbersome and may be restrained. This kind of flexible and light gladiator may be able to restrain him. The same is true for this female catman. Pure power cannot cause her any harm unless it is strong enough. Are you the human Sparta? You are such a weak bamboo pole. The Catwoman has a frivolous figure, and she walks like a coquettish bitch. The two lumps of fur on the cat's chest tremble. Sparta's eyes also trembled twice, then he came back to his senses and smiled. Catwoman Athena, you look like a rather promiscuous woman, right? Chapter 528 Martial Arts and Martial Arts. Catwoman's eyes suddenly condensed, she snorted coldly and stopped talking. Lin Ke, who went by the alias Sparta, smiled slightly. This Catwoman is the best. If she was seen by the Furu fans in the previous life, it would be simply amazing. Speaking of those two proud furballs, they feel good to the touch, perhaps comparable to Kanako, and with the provocative words full of gunpowder from the two, the arena was once again ignited. The two gladiators are very gunpowder-like. Then without further ado, the 9 consecutive gladiatorial matches in the 98th arena will begin now. The host gave an order, and the situation on the field changed immediately. The cat-eared big breasts, or cat breasts, Catwoman, instantly turned into a residual image, and rushed towards Lin Ke at a high speed. The arena is not allowed to use poison, but the cat breasts have very sharp claws, and the pupils have also turned into cat pupils. But Lin Ke still stood there motionless. Humph. Cat breasts snorted coldly, and pointed her sharp claws at Lin Ke's throat. Kill, 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 kill him. Athena, 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 Athena. Bloodthirsty roars rang out from the audience, and the audience vented all the resentment, anger that they had accumulated in their daily lives. Who knew that the swift claws of the cat nurse were blocked by Lin Ke's palm? Lin Ke put on the take-eye posture of his previous life, used a move of the left wild horse split mane, gently pushed the palm of the cat nurse to the side, and then raised his leg, and kicked the cat nurse's lower abdomen. In the fight, there was no mercy. Puff. After being kicked, the cat nurse flew out in a parabola, accompanied by a mouthful of blood. However, when she landed on all fours, landed steadily, and then rushed towards Lin Ke again. Pop. Lin Ke still easily resisted the attack this time. Sparta, Sparta, Sparta. Sparta is the strongest. Knock her down. Knock this bitch down. Rampage. Crash. Fierce. That stinky bastard. The people in the audience roared loudly, and the person who defeated the cat nanny was madly cursing. The atmosphere became more and more heated, and the host was also explaining with a passionate voice. The cat nanny became more and more angry, and her attack became more fierce. But Lin Ke still defended slowly, and then punched and kicked fiercely. Lin Ke's movements were sometimes fast and sometimes slow. Some of them looked slow, but they could accurately block the attacks of the cat nanny. The slow movements could block the claws of the cat nanny, which made the audience and the host exclaimed a miracle. However, in the eyes of the cat nanny, the seemingly fast and slow movements, neither fast nor slow, made her feel nauseous and want to vomit after watching for a long time. In the end, the cat nanny was slapped on the chin by Lin Ke and flew out, fainting and unconscious. It appears the winner is a human Sparta. The powerful Sparta has won the honor of 10 consecutive victories. The host roared passionately. The audience in the arena suddenly cheered like a landslide. Sparta, 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 Sparta. I love you. Damn Catwoman, I will only trust Sparta next time. The audience cheered one wave higher than the other, and at this time, a reporter ran down at this juncture and handed Sparta a microphone. This is a routine interview. There will be interviews for the birth of 10 consecutive victories and 100 consecutive victories or more. If there is a good topic, it will be broadcasted in the live broadcast, and once it was even broadcasted on the program Nasang Vision. The topic that time was mainly about the elephant people. The elephant people mainly compared the survival situation of the Holy Life Alliance in the past with the current living conditions, so the manuscript was broadcast on Nasang Vision. And this time, the interviewing reporter had a hunch that this interview might be a big news. Mr. Sparta, what is the new fighting method you used in the arena? We know that this fighting method is the first time in the arena. Did you invent it? After the interviewer handed the microphone to Lin Ke, he gestured to the photographer, and the photographer immediately pointed the photo stone at Lin Ke. Yes, this is my invention. Lin Ke smiled at the photo stone. I call it take eye. Take eye? The interviewer followed Lin Ke and read out this strange sound that required the tip of the tongue to make with a little confusion. Yes, take eye. Lin Ke smiled. Teikai, or, what I use, is a fist called Teikai, which is just a kind of martial arts. Lin Ke tried his best to express the meaning of Teikai in the common language of Nassim. Teikai is inherited from the Taoist thought. Teikai is not only a martial art, but also a way of keeping in good health, and may even be a way of cultivating immortals. Martial arts? Although this word is new, the interviewer understood it. Excuse me, what is martial arts? Lin Ke smiled, and began to explain, I have seen many gladiatorial fights, but I feel that most people only rely on their physical talents to fight, without any skills or moves. Those who have a little skill have won 10 games in a row or more than 100 games. When this was said, everyone was shocked. This is offending all gladiators. If it was the Duke of Lava, or even the followers of the Duke of Lava, or the gladiator master who said this, the gladiators might think about it and make corrections. The problem is that this Spartan has only won 10 games in a row, so he dares to speak so arrogantly? However, the audience watched the excitement and cheered one by one. Oh, Sparta is the strongest. Knock over Master Yoda. Knock over the GD swordsman. Become the new king of gladiators. The audience cheered, fanned the flames, and provoked. The reporter suppressed his desire to watch the excitement and see the man in front of him being tortured by those famous gladiator masters, and then patiently continued to ask, so, you mean your martial arts, these skills and moves, can make you a gladiator master, or even the gladiator king? Gladiator master? Gladiator king? Lin Ke didn't have that much time to play the ladder, so he shook his head. The audience booed immediately, thinking that this Spartan was timid. Who knew that Lin Ke's next sentence shocked the arena again? I don't have that much time to fight, but I can recruit disciples and let my disciples become gladiator masters and gladiator kings. No time, so let the disciples become gladiator masters and even become gladiator kings. The arena was silent and then burst into even louder cheers. Even the cat nanny who had just woken up from a coma moved her soft ears. Chapter 529 Gemini Gods, Goddess of Finance and ESG Concepts. Martial arts and martial arts. These two words suddenly became popular in the gladiator circle. Not many people paid attention to it at first, and those long-established gladiator masters would not even take a second look at such a small character with 10 consecutive wins. They would only pay attention to opponents of the same level. However, when Sparta opened a martial arts hall in the Great Wasteland City, and someone stood up for him, the situation changed. The person standing up was named Watson. Worker Watson, the current main helmsman of the Ministry of Industry, the chief of the factory unions, and one of the followers of the Duke of Lava. Now, more than 80% of the factories in the entire Great Wasteland City were built by him and the workers, firmly occupying the product supply market in the supply chain. What's more, he was one of the original followers of the Duke of Lava, and was deeply trusted by the Duke of Lava. Who doesn't know Watson's iron fist? With Watson's support, Sparta's martial arts hall immediately became popular. A gladiator recognized by the big guys, a martial arts recognized by the big guys. How could it be bad? So, everyone who knew about it was ready to move. Gladiator masters, merchants, gladiators, or ordinary people with related needs are all ready to move. However, just 2 days before the martial arts hall opened, Sparta Lin Ke went to other places. So, you two have agreed? Lin Ke sat on the throne, holding the storm rat in his arms, and stroking it gently, looking at the two little boys below. The god of springs and the god of streams. Originally the twin gods under the command of the god of the forest, but because of their simple nature, they were captured directly. After talking for so long, it seems that the twin gods have changed and surrendered. The twin gods look very similar, but Lin Ke still distinguished that it was the god of springs who was speaking. Master, they have surrendered, after being persuaded by me, the grandmother. Grandma Zise looked at the two twin gods lovingly, as if she was looking at her own children. The twin gods shrank their heads immediately, and a trace of fear flashed in their golden pupils, thinking of the horrible treatment they had suffered in the past few days. We are willing to become your followers. The twin gods immediately knelt on one knee, and wanted to swear allegiance to Lin Ke. Stop. Lin Ke held up his right hand, and stopped the twin gods from swearing allegiance. You two don't have to swear allegiance to me. Let's do this. You join the financial goddess Kanako. Financial goddess. The twin gods said in unison, then looked at each other, and their voices were curious, but our laws are not related. When the gods created a pantheon, it was best if the laws were related. For example, the forest god accepted the twin gods, which also benefited his own law field. Of course, forced submission is fine. It doesn't matter. Lin Ke waved his hand. Besides, how can finance and springs and streams be unrelated? Have you heard of social responsibility and ESG behavior? What? The spring god seemed to stutter a little, as if he had just learned the common language of Nasan not long ago. In the past, they were all ding dong, without words, just conveying meaning in the sound. Social responsibility, mainly corporate social responsibility, forget it. You are not a company, but you should know ESG, which is E, environment, S, society, and G, governance. Financial investment should consider ESG in the future, that is, dozens of small aspects under the 3 aspects of environment, society, and governance should be measured before investment. Lin Ke recounted the concept of his previous life. Why should business operations consider ESG? Normally, when starting a business, you only need to consider making money, but scholars in the previous life pointed out, is it feasible for a company to only consider making money? For example, your company's radio uses a battery. In theory, you only need to consider the cost and benefit of a battery. But is it enough to consider only these? Not enough. If the battery is thrown away after use, it will cause environmental pollution. The manufacture of batteries uses limited and rare resources on the earth. Those black-hearted factories discharge sewage and affect the surrounding residents, and those capitalists discharge waste gas and move to live on the island. Therefore, the ESG concept is to consider the responsibilities that enterprises should bear in this process. ESG behavior is the actions taken by enterprises in these 3 aspects. For example, enterprises use green energy, reduce sewage discharge, and establish green pollutant treatment plants in the environment. In social governance, it is to donate materials, earthquake relief, education and help the poor, etc. In governance, it is aimed at internal governance of enterprises, such as product quality management, internal corruption governance, internal control and audit accounting, etc. In the past life, the melamine incident of some dairy companies and the factory discharge of sewage and toxic gas incidents were typical social responsibility incidents and ESG incidents. There is also the term ESG investment in the financial world. Before investment institutions invest in companies or buy financial products such as stocks, they will investigate ESG information. If the gods of springs and streams expand their scope of their duties, it will also be a great achievement, and it will also make the lives of the people of lava territory better. After listening to Lin Ke's explanation of ESG, the twin gods seemed to understand and leave. Lin Ke looked at Granny Zase. Granny Zase, how did you tame these 2 gods? Don't look at the twin gods as simple, but they are gods. Under the operation of the divinity, it is natural to distinguish between good intentions and malice, and also to distinguish everyone's will. Before, Aofu and the others had also tried to persuade the twin gods. But the forest god had been very successful in pooing the twin gods since they were young, so the twin gods did not dare to rebel at all until, I'm fine. I treat these 2 little babies as my own grandchildren. Grandma Zase looked back at the direction where the twin gods left with a doting face. These 2 children are really cute. The 2 gods are indeed cute, but Lin Ke was thinking that, although Grandma Zase and teacher Aofu had been in the laboratory for a long time and had developed feelings for each other, it seemed that there was no result of long-term love. Is Grandma Zase radiating the maternal radiance? But just now, the twin gods' eyes were not full of admiration for their mothers, but fear. So, you treated them as children, and then what did you do? Lin Ke asked again. You've done a lot. Granny Zase smiled kindly. My grandchildren are my babies, so of course they have to study hard. Logically, they are already 9 years old, and have missed 3 years of study. Now they must make up for it. I remember La Place made a junior mathematical olympiad or something like that. Looking at Granny Zase who was talking endlessly, Lin Ke finally understood. Love is indeed love, and she really has no ill will towards the twin gods. However, This is fucking torturing people. No, torturing the gods? The king of the gods of the human race also died indirectly from a math problem. What's more, the twin gods. Chapter 530 University, School starts. After asking the twin gods the reason for their surrender, Lin Ke also asked Granny Zisei to leave. Lin Ke had also experienced the horror of mathematical Olympiad questions since he was a child. Under Granny Zisei's continuous earnest teachings and tireless teaching to encourage learning 24 hours a day, it was already earth-shattering that he could persist for so long. You know, the twin gods are gods, and they really don't need to sleep for 24 hours. They study 24 hours a day. Granny Zisei was beside them, kindly encouraging them to study, and they couldn't run away. It is estimated that the twin gods also thought about escaping, but they couldn't escape at all. So they suffered horrible mental destruction. It was terrible. Lin Ke wanted to laugh when he thought of the pitiful look of the two little boys being forced to do mathematics. But he has started to prepare now. Prepare a speech for the opening of the university. After Granny Zisei and the twin gods left, Lin Ke took out a pen and paper, pondered for a moment, and then wrote, "I have a dream. Dahuang University, school has started." Numerous students of Naseng had never left the Great Wasteland City, and had always lived in the city. On the first day of school, the whole city was boiling. The Great Wasteland University, the first university, finally opened. The opening of elementary and middle schools was ordinary, but this was the opening of the university. Let alone other things, there were many students who could graduate directly. It's just that everyone came with a purpose. Of course, the purpose of these people was also to learn and improve, not just those who came for the quota. After all, the exams here test morality. You can kill countless people, but there must be a reason. You can be extremely evil, but there must be a bottom line. You can do all kinds of evil, but there must be principles. In this way, although it is difficult for Lin Ke to choose all those people with great virtue, at least he chose some people who know how to repay kindness. At least he doesn't want to raise some ungrateful people. It's okay to be moderately selfish, but extremely selfish people are always unpleasant. And on this day, the students of the university entered the school. School of Biology. Students from the School of Biology, please line up behind me. We will set off when there are 500 people. Can you hear me? Students from the School of Physics, come here. I'm a teacher from the School of Chemistry. Students of Chemistry, come here. We will set off when there are enough people from the School of Medicine. The university is located outside the Great Wasteland City, and it is bustling with people. However, the main entrance of the university is a large arch, and behind this arch there are arched door frames made of stone. The large arch is engraved with the common language of Naseng Great Wasteland University. Everything else is simple and clear. Behind the large arch is a large teleportation array, and behind these small arches are slightly smaller teleportation arrays. These small teleportation arrays lead to the small spaces and planes of each college, while the large teleportation array is used to teleport to the campus of the university. In front of the teleportation array, teams of students of different races, heights, weights, ages, and strengths are waiting to enter. Every time there are 500 people, the students enter, and are then teleported to their own colleges. As for the main campus of the Great Wasteland University, it is still a mystery. Large numbers of people came to the outside of the city, wanting to see what the university looked like. Unfortunately, they could only see a few arches. Countless people wanted to know what the main campus of the university was for, what areas it had, what it looked like, how big it was. However, on the first day of school, the university was not open to the public. Only when normal teaching was carried out later, the university was open to the public. As long as the ID card was swiped, the face was compared, and the voice was compared, they could enter. For normal people in the Great Wilderness, this was very easy. But for many outsiders with bad intentions, this was the first barrier to stop them. The second barrier was other teachers and students in the university. Of course, more people could enter through visits by foreign personnel. But in short, it was difficult for people with bad intentions to enter, and they could not enter the confidential area even if they entered. However, the people now were excited, and looking forward to it. You know, this is a university. the first thing that Nasan had ever seen. Although in a few days, they could enter to watch and explore to satisfy their curiosity and desire for exploration. But who can bear it? This kind of torment and expectation of waiting every minute and every second is unbearable for anyone. Unfortunately, the information of each student has been remembered by the leading teacher, and it is impossible to sneak in. So, in this expectation, a reporter was allowed to enter the interior of Dahuang University. And yesterday's Nasan Vision also said that a special issue will be released in a few days about the interior of Dahuang University. For example, how students live and study in it, what teaching methods teachers have, etc. Of course, no matter what, everyone is still looking forward to it. So, the noisy students entered their own colleges and first accepted the division of departments, classes, and dormitories. Until the evening, the people gradually dispersed. This time, Dahuang University enrolled more than 130,000 people, more than 120,000 of whom were students trained by Dahuang City itself. But there were also nearly 10,000 people from other places in Nasan. The college entrance examination candidates are nearly 2.8 million. Dahuang City was almost full at the time. For Dahuang University, even 20 million can be stuffed in, and 200 billion is possible. After all, the Great Wilderness University has 12 large plains, each of which is a continent, comparable to a small Nasan. The plains that Andrew personally gave are enough for the Great Wilderness University. However, the current 130,000 students are also the limit for the Great Wilderness University. The Great Wilderness does not have such a strong faculty, nor so many management personnel, nor so many monitoring personnel, etc. Therefore, 130,000 is just right. In the future, perhaps the people recruited will also come from countless planes in the heavens and stars, and from the other two main planes, Qs and Feljima. But now, it's enough. But, there was a slight vibration in the air, and Rasha came to a bright and magnificent place. Hey, it's so bright here. A dark and thin boy next to Rasha smiled at him. Brother, which community are you from? Rasha smiled slightly. Mathematics community. How about you? Wow. The boy exclaimed. I have wanted to go to the mathematics community for a long time. I heard that Miss Julia also lives there. That's not the case. But, Rasha was about to explain when Gabriel, who was following him, said, what's your name? We dare not tell you the whereabouts of Miss Julia. The little boy with black hair and black eyes only noticed Gabriel at this time. A hint of surprise flashed across his face, and then it seemed as if there was a few more lights in his eyes. Chapter 531 Mathematics Academy. The School of Mathematics has less than 1,000 people in total. 986 people. There are more than 100,000 students, but the entire School of Mathematics has less than 1,000 people in total. If you divide it into the various departments of the School of Mathematics, there are probably only 1 or 2 classes. But there is nothing you can do about it. Mathematics itself is difficult, and now there is only one person who has become a legend, Juliu. There are not even many laws of mathematics, and the latest laws were created by Lin Ke and Juliu before. Under multiple factors, it is already very good to have 1,000 people. There are even no people who apply for some majors in the School of Mathematics. Fortunately, although the teachers of the School of Mathematics are all specialized, they all understand, or even master the basic mathematical knowledge, which is enough for students to learn. Students, please enter and take your seats, as soon as possible. The dean is about to speak. A white-bearded old man shouted to the hundreds of students in the hall. So Rasha and the others immediately filed in through more than a dozen doors. The white-bearded old man calculated that there were enough people, so he also entered the auditorium and closed the door. After Rasha and the others came in, they immediately found a seat to sit down. On the left was the boy with black hair and black eyes, and on the right was Gabriel. There were rows of students in front of them, and they were the last batch. It seems that you are all the students of the School of Mathematics. At this moment, everyone's eyes were focused on the stage at the front of the auditorium and on the figure, who was speaking in simple clothes. Rasha naturally cast his eyes over there. Legendary mathematician, Juliu. I'm very happy. When His Highness Lin Ke told me that he would be the dean, I thought the students I received were the researchers in my own institute. At this point, the students below laughed kindly, and Juliu also smiled. At this time, Juliu was a little more relaxed and comfortable than when he first came to Dahuang City to meet Lin Ke, and he was much more comfortable than before. But, what makes me happy is that in our Dahuang City, in our Nasang, there are nearly 1,000 people who are pursuing mathematical knowledge, pursuing the knowledge that is closest to the truth. His Highness Lin Ke once said, "Your eyes will deceive you, your ears will deceive you, everything in this plane will deceive you, but mathematics will not." Juliu is always a woman, but her words are not weak, but resounding. We are pursuing the truth of mathematics and exploring the mysteries of the laws. We use the changes in numbers to evolve the rules of the heavens. We can use the laws of mathematics to deduce all the laws. Whether it is a professional or an ordinary person, whether it is a man or a woman, whether it is a human or a monster, as long as you have wisdom, you can pursue and master this law that leads to the truth. The students in the auditorium were excited by what Juliu said, and they all wanted to plunge into the exploration of the truth immediately. Now, our college is dividing the classes into different departments. Please ask the department heads to take the students of their respective departments to divide the classes and familiarize themselves with the various activity areas in the mathematics campus, such as the teaching building, playground, laboratory building, cafeteria, etc. At 7 o'clock in the evening, go to the main campus for the first freshman meeting. After speaking, Juliu nodded to the students sitting below, and then his figure flashed out. So, the students here immediately began to whisper. Main campus. The change of identity has given them a sense of identity with the School of Mathematics. There is also a sense of anticipation to meet other colleges. But now, it's time to divide the classes and dormitories. Please input magic power into the back of your seat, or press the red button on the right to teleport to the dormitory area. Whitebird immediately presided over the order of the scene after Juliu left, and his voice was very loud. There is a corresponding list under each dormitory building. Please find your name, and then move in. All our mathematics school students live in building 18 for boys, and building 81 for girls. As for roommates, if you have your own pairing, you can adjust it yourself. After the adjustment, just go to the dormitory management office for filing. Next, Whitebird directly took the paper and read it one by one. After reading it, the teleportation array on the seat opened, and the students teleported out of the auditorium one by one. It feels really good. After the students were teleported, Whitebird exhaled proudly. Our mathematics school has not recruited so many people in hundreds of years, right? A majestic middle-aged man also walked into the auditorium and sighed. This is only the first year. Yes. Whitebird smiled proudly, his eyes narrowed. Others would think that there are less than 1,000 people in the mathematics school, which is too few. But you have to know that the people in the mathematics school are basically the dozens of people in the Mathematics Research Institute. These dozens of people were also the dozens of people in the mathematics school of the Giller Institute back then. Basically, there are not many changes. However, after the establishment of the university, there are nearly 1,000 students this year alone. Although some of them may have joined because they felt Lin Ke's attention, and some may have joined because they saw the legend. But no matter what, these people's math ability is above 90 points. In this exam, the passing score for the college entrance examination is 60 points, and the average score is 3.9 points. People above 90 points have a certain talent for mathematics. This is also Lin Ke's requirement. The School of Mathematics must recruit people with a math score of more than 90 points, or people with a score of more than 85 points, but who are very interested in mathematics. It is better to have fewer than 50 people. In this situation, the School of Mathematics has nearly 1,000 talented students, who can be counted as their disciples. In this case, Whitebird and his party, the former elders of the mathematics school, only feel very happy and very relieved. By the way, Whitebird, have you figured it out? New rules? The majestic middle-aged man asked Whitebird. No. Whitebird shook his head and sighed. It is indeed very difficult to engrave a new law on the crystal wall. Your life is almost over. The majestic middle-aged man patted Whitebird on the shoulder. If it doesn't work, just comprehend the law of Lin Ke and Jiu. Otherwise I'm afraid Whitebird is a figure from the Middle Ages, but he has never become a star level, and was even just an 18 level epic strongman before. But Lin Ke brought them hope. He is also ambitious. To become a legend, you need to fully master a law. In the past, they could only rely on themselves to create mathematical laws. But now, Lin Ke and Julie have come up with mathematical laws about and irrational number systems. As long as they comprehend and master them, they can become legends. However, Whitebird is ambitious. He wants to ascend to the legend as the creator of a certain mathematical law. There are still more than 10 years. Whitebird forced himself to cheer up. If it doesn't work in the end, I will comprehend the Great River and the others. As he said, Whitebird muttered to himself, geometry, trigonometry, differential geometry, topology, fractals, measure theory. Chapter 532, Magical Items New Student's Manual. Risha squeezed through a bunch of people and finally got the key to his dormitory. He didn't care much about his roommates, as long as they didn't affect his studies. Of course, the boy with black hair and black pupils was also assigned to the same room with him. As for his other good friend Gabriel, he lived in building 81, the girls' dormitory. There was no way. Although many people strongly protested, the proposal of mixed sex was still not passed. Gabriel also looked very disappointed. Risha didn't think about why he was disappointed, but took the key to the dormitory with great anticipation, and followed the black-haired boy. He made the bed, bought toiletries and a series of other things, and then returned to the dormitory with the black-haired boy, and began to read the freshman handbook. This freshman handbook was compiled at the request of Lin Ke. The content is extremely detailed and covers all aspects. Lin Ke called it the most complete freshman handbook in history. Of course, this history is only a few days at present. But after Risha flipped it, he found that the freshman handbook was really complete. This freshman handbook is divided into many parts, and the first cover reflects a painting. Dahuang University Freshman Handbook. The words on the cover are the common language of Nasang, and the scene behind the words is the big arches of Dahuang University. Turning over, the first page is a page of maxims. College students should focus on studying hard and study for the rise of Nasang. Focus on studying hard. Study for the rise of Nasang. Although Risha doesn't know why Nasang wants to rise, if suppressing the stars in the sky is not called rising, then what is it called? But this does not prevent Risha from thinking that these two sentences are very meaningful. College students need to study hard. I remember seeing it in the law. So, not studying hard is against the law? Risha sighed. What? Breaking the law? The black-haired boy had already seen the back at this time, and couldn't help but exclaimed when he heard Risha's words. I heard that the laws in the great wilderness are not that strict. How can you break the law if you don't work hard? I don't know much about this, but I just heard from my family that the law is very important. Not really. Risha scratched his head. It should just be a kind of exhortation and guidance. Huh. I was scared to death. The black-haired boy breathed a sigh of relief, and then excitedly said, have you seen it? Our school is really big. The boy was only 15 or 16 years old, so he was very interested in these new things. Look, this is the map overview of our school. The boy opened the last page of the freshman handbook, revealing a flowing picture. A rich map was drawn on this paper with a faint magical atmosphere. On the map, there are two large maps of the main campus and the School of Mathematics. The main campus on the left has teaching buildings, auditoriums, playgrounds, etc., and the right shows a red dot, located in the box with no 18 boys dormitory building. This should be our position. The black-haired boy said excitedly. Look, our point is flashing. Yes. Seeing the black-haired boy so excited, Risha couldn't help but wonder, you rarely come into contact with magic creations? Yes. The black-haired boy lowered his head embarrassedly. Although I have been enlightened, I don't have any job yet. My family is too poor. Although the boy acted a little shy, he didn't have any look of lack of confidence or inferiority. It can be seen that this boy has a lot of self-esteem. But looking at the boy's black hair and black eyes, Risha always felt that he looked like someone. John. You know, John is a typical black-haired black-eyed person. John, in Dahuang City, is second only to Lin Ke and above everyone else. Okay. Risha smiled, but I think it's okay. I heard that the university will provide you with a job assignment. Then you can become a mathematician. Yeah. The black-haired boy nodded excitedly, then looked at the freshman handbook and said, look, there are also introductions to the various planes of our university and college at the back. Our mathematics college actually has 5 medium-sized planes, 12 small planes, and 86 small spaces. The black-haired boy was too excited and just flipped through the pages to read. Rashad was much calmer, smiled and shook his head, then continued to read. After the introduction, there were some rules and regulations, most of which were rules such as not to kill or rob. The system was the credit system, which Risha had already learned a lot about before entering the school. And after the rules and regulations, there was an introduction to the school. Seeing this, Risha was refreshed. First was the main campus, and then the branch campuses of other colleges. The main campus was responsible for some activities held by 2 or more colleges, or some large-scale competitions. In addition, there were some general courses and some tests, which were held on the main campus. Apart from this, all other activities are basically carried out in their own colleges, while some elective courses and multiple courses may be taken in other campuses, so they need to transfer to the main campus. The entrance to the 8 large planes is at the main campus. Only professors and students can apply for certain activities and projects in the large planes, and they can enter after approval. Each other college can only have intermediate planes at most. Among the many colleges in Dahuang University, there are 2 largest colleges. One is the Night College and the other is the Physics College. Looking at the number of teachers in these 2 colleges, and then looking at the number of teachers in his own mathematics college, even people like Risha who don't care about these empty things feel a sense of pressure. I don't know how many students the Night College has recruited this time, but there are more than 5,000 teachers alone. The Physics College is about the same, with more than 2,000 teachers. And there are many names he is familiar with. Some epic masters, star masters, gods, and legends, etc., who are famous in the continent, are all on the list. Looking at the names of the professors, associate professors and lecturers hidden in the paper by magic, Risha couldn't help but feel a little envious. I wonder when the School of Mathematics will have such a grand occasion. Risha stopped looking at other schools and continued to read. After the basic conditions of these schools, it is the situation of their own school. This freshman handbook is a first level magic item. After being bound to him, relevant information naturally appeared on it. Therefore, after these basic information, there is information about himself and the School of Mathematics. For example, student number, class, dormitory building, class teacher, etc. There is also a course schedule at the back. The full course schedule repeats in a cycle of 7 days. A small month is an ode to start the next stage of courses. There is an assessment in a large month, and there is a long vacation after half a year. Wow. Why are there more courses than in middle school? The black-haired boy wailed. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 533, The Popularity of the Physics Elective Course. It's okay. Risha smiled. He came here just to study. He has also watched movies, watched live broadcasts, and experienced a lot of entertainment. However, his favorite is mathematics. He likes the feeling of pursuing the goal with all his strength when thinking about mathematics, and the satisfaction after achieving the goal. The satisfaction after achieving the goal will not turn into emptiness, because mathematics always has various problems waiting for him to explore and solve. For him, such happiness can satisfy his soul more than some short-lived and false happiness. Therefore, classes and many classes are nothing to him. He even thinks that, if he is allowed to stay up all night for a few months like Miss Juliu, it would be better. However, a moderate combination of work and rest. It is not good to be in this state of rest all the time. He still has to do some things he doesn't like, such as sleeping, eating, drinking and having fun. For Risha, the leisure in the combination of work and rest is mathematics, and the work is other things besides mathematics. By the way, why hasn't our roommate come yet? By the way, Risha, are you a professional? What level are you at? The black-haired boy first talked to Rasha because of his plain clothes, but now he likes his roommate because of Rasha's calm temperament. This roommate seems very reliable. Me. You will know later. Rasha smiled and did not mention the level. He is now level 15, and his talent has even shocked Lin Ke. Self-taught, only 15 years old, extremely fond of mathematics. He is at a level that can make him a teacher. However, both Julio and Lin Ke suggested that he go to university, because in university, he can also be exposed to various other ideas. It is very undesirable to study alone behind closed doors. The spark of thought can only be brilliant after collision. There are so many students and teachers in the university, which means so many young and fearless ideas, so much authoritative and powerful knowledge. These are the purpose and significance of Rasha coming here. Well, I really envy you. Alas, my family is too poor. But I must work hard to let my family live a good life. Although the black-haired boy sighed and said that his family was poor, his eyes were full of fighting spirit. Then he raised his chin to Rasha. Hey, Rasha, I heard that there are part-time jobs in the school. I will try it when the time comes. I see that your family conditions don't seem to be that good. Do you want to join us? Rasha usually wears cloth clothes. In addition, he grew up in the village since he was a child, so he is also simple and has a kind of earthy smell on him. In short, he is a little rustic, but his eyes and eyes determine that his temperament is pure and clear. Work study? Rasha thought for a moment, then shook his head apologetically. I still prefer reading. However, I heard that professors have quotas for students who work study positions as assistants. You can try to get it. Professor's assistant? The black-haired boy shook his head. I'm not a professional. I feel that compared with mathematicians, my brain is too stupid, and no professor will want me. That's hard to say. Rasha smiled mysteriously. At this time, the other two people in the dormitory also came to the dormitory one after another. There were 4 people in the dormitory. Hello, I'm George. There were 2 people, one tall and one short. Both of them were human. The situation of dividing dormitories also takes into account race and racial habits. Humans usually live with humans. The 2 people are about 15 or 16 years old. One is honest and the other looks smart. The honest person is George. I'm Yale. Well, I feel that your family background is not very good. Remember to tell me if you are short of money in the future. Yale was wearing limited edition Asen clothing, looking very noble. As a dormitory brother, help each other. Although Yale's words were a bit blunt, he still felt kind. At least there was no arrogant attitude in his tone. Instead, there was a feeling of I have a bag of potato chips here, let's eat together. Hello, I'm Rasha. Rasha smiled. Silas. The black-haired boy also greeted enthusiastically. So, the 4 of them communicated with each other very enthusiastically. After communicating for a while, they went to other places in the dormitory building in their free time in the afternoon. Then they came back quickly, because they found that many blank spaces in the course schedule required course selection, and they hadn't selected yet. So they hurried back and found a magic transmission interface next to the table under the bed and connected the freshman handbook to that interface. This magic transmission device was taken from Phaser. In Phaser, Lin Ke could even build the internet in a while, so the interface for this kind of magic transmission was naturally fixed. After connecting the interface, they turned to the page of their own course schedule, and naturally their first month's courses appeared. The blank space was the elective course to be filled in. Rasha clicked it, and found a long list of options popped up. Physics, chemistry, biology, geography, medicine, psychology, economics, finance, business, all the names of various colleges. Rasha clicked on physics. This subject is also a very interesting subject, and Rasha is also very interested. Clicking it, a lot of departments appeared instantly. Thermodynamics department, classical mechanics department, electricity, optics, atomic science, nuclear physics. So many departments. And Rasha knew that every department here was overcrowded. Clicked into the classical mechanics department. As everyone knows, their principal, Mr. Lin Ke, is also teaching, but generally there are few of his classes. And one of Mr. Lin Ke's famous skills is the air blade. Of course, according to Mr. Lin Ke, this is not an air blade, but a product of thermodynamics and classical mechanics. So Risha guessed that maybe Mr. Lin Ke would teach one of these two courses. However, when he clicked into classical mechanics, he was immediately shocked by the densely packed courses and the red progress bar behind them. There are so many courses in classical mechanics, and almost every course is marked with a 200/200. Solid mechanics, deformation, and displacement of variable body strain and destruction of loaded fluid, structural mechanics, killing techniques, mechanical motion, and Lin Ke's second law. Basically all courses are full. Risha seemed to remember something, and exited to look at his elective courses in the School of Mathematics. The meaning of rational and irrational numbers 0/200 Lin Ke, the law of the Great River 13/200 detailed explanation of analytic geometry 0/200. Risha just felt a little pity and a little uncomfortable. Such interesting and lovely mathematics, but so few people choose to take it. Chapter 534 Lin Ke's speech. But there is no way now. Mathematics seems to be naturally difficult for others. Risha doesn't understand, but he thinks that it would be perfect if he could make others feel the beauty of mathematics. Okay. Risha thought of the young genius Gabriel in the eyes of others, and knew that mathematics is indeed not something that everyone can accept. Unlike physics, knowledge is power. Physics is a treasure for many scholars. That's why the elective course is so attractive. Unfortunately, Risha was originally very interested in physics, but there was no way at this time, so he could only choose other courses. There are many candidates for physics, chemistry, etc., and Risha is not very interested in knights. After choosing, Risha looked at another subject. It has nothing to do with natural sciences, and is called humanities. There are few people in the humanities, but the current hot areas of the humanities are also full of people. Finance, wealth and finance, etiquette, correspond to several well-known strong people at present, the goddess of finance, the goddess of wealth and the noble gentleman. However, Risha saw another course, in economics, nascent traditional economy and new economy. There is also a subtitle below, based on Lin Ke's economic theory and model. Lin Ke's economic theory and model. Seeing this, Risha watched the number behind the course change from 0/200 to 117/200, and then to 194/200. Risha widened his eyes and instantly chose this elective course. Suddenly, the number behind the course became 200/200. Just because it has the two words Lin Ke, it has become so popular. Risha felt that he could completely propose a Lin Ke effect. Looking at the elective time filled up in the first small month of the course schedule, Risha also breathed a sigh of relief. Next, it is to look forward to the opening lecture in the evening. The speaker, Lin Ke. In Dahuang University, the originally empty plains and spaces are filled with people. Your Highness, are you satisfied with these buildings? Architect Velen stood behind Lin Ke, looking at the buildings of the main campus with great pride. Well, thank you for your hard work. Lin Ke turned around, picked up a freshman handbook, and flipped through it casually. Master Wildboar is still unwilling to come to teach at the School of Architecture? Yes, Your Highness. Velen's face froze. The Holy Life Alliance seems to be targeting you openly or secretly. Humph. Emperor Wumian has been resting recently, and these rats jumped out. A gleam of light flashed in Lin Ke's eyes. Since those people don't join now, they will be permanently blacklisted by Dahuang University, and will never be hired again. Okay. Velen also narrowed his eyes. Master, it's about to start. At this time, John came in, and whispered to Lin Ke, the dean, vice dean, professors, associate professors and lecturers and other faculty and staff are ready, and the students are in place. Lin Ke nodded, and said to Velen, let's go, together. As he said, the three of them walked out together. This is the principal's office. After coming out, there were smooth tiles everywhere. If Lin Ke didn't know that this was Dahuang University, he might have thought he was back on Earth. The three of them quickly walked into the corridor, downstairs, and outside. This is an office building. Outside the office building, there is an ordinary lawn, no fountains or gardens, just located in a very quiet place. After walking north for a while, there were people rushing in one direction along the way. Auditorium. Although punctuality is a virtue, it seems that college students in the past and now are prone to being late. Lin Ke and his friends hid their figures and hurried to the auditorium. Along the way, Lin Ke also looked around casually, and it really felt like a dream. It was just like when he got up late in college and rushed to class with his roommates, fearing that he would be deducted for being late for roll call. Many people around were like this, rushing on the road, fearing that they would be late for his lecture. Of course, there were some obvious differences. Not far away, a Frost Wolf student was moving his limbs very fast, carrying a school bag on his back, and panting on the road. Several tree people from the conifer tribe were also running as hard as they could, but the speed was terrible, and the leaves were scattered all over the ground. A jackal made several big leaps, and rushed in front of everyone, with a magical fluctuation of about level 10. Going to class now is completely different from the previous life. Lin Ke even saw someone riding a group of reindeer, and then tied the reindeer to the parking space on the side of the road, and entered the auditorium under the envious eyes of everyone. Having a mount is equivalent to raising an extra person, and only good families can afford this. There is a knight major in Dahuang University, so Lin Ke can't directly prohibit these students from bringing mounts, and there may be a trend of comparison in the future. But for now, these are trivial matters. Lin Ke just feels that being the president of such a university, he is really afraid that one day he will be torn to pieces by angry professors and students in various senses. Master, go to the podium from this side. John led the way in front. The three avoided the crowd and went in from the backstage. Once they entered, there was a lot of noise. It was not as orderly and quiet as when Lin Ke held a meeting for the Fanai party in Phaser. But Lin Ke also knew most of the 130,000 students here are passionate teenagers. Because education has only been in operation for a short time, Lin Ke did not force a certain age to read what. This resulted in the youngest of this group of college students being only 12 or 13 years old, and the oldest being several hundred years old. In front of all the students were rows of faculty and staff. In addition to teachers, that is, professors and lecturers, there were also administrative and logistics personnel, such as those who handle documents and finances, or the aunties in the cafeteria. There were also those legendary or godly deans and vice deans. Lin Ke walked in, prepared casually, and then signaled to John. So John showed up, and walked up to the front stage, and Velen went to sit at the School of Architecture. Dear teachers and students, good evening. I'm John, the assistant to the principal. Today, I'm very happy to host the first freshman meeting of Dahuang University. I hope that in the future, our Dahuang University will get better and better. John came on stage and easily controlled the atmosphere, attracting everyone's attention. The auditorium with space folding technology immediately became quiet, and more than 130,000 people listened to John quietly, with expectations on their faces. First of all, the first item on the agenda of this conference is the speech by Mr. Lin Ke, the president of Dahuang University. Please welcome him with applause. John said passionately, and then gestured to Lin Ke who was standing below. So Lin Ke nodded and walked up. Chapter 535. The Sword Points at the Alliance. The Faith of the Academy. Lin Ke stepped onto the podium amidst the fierce applause. Applause. This action that is very suitable for expressing feelings has become popular. At least the people in Dahuang City, those who have seen the drama in the wonderful land, all know how to applaud. And in the applause, in the spotlight, Lin Ke walked to the podium for the speech, on which was a microphone with amplification. Hello, everyone, I'm Lin Ke. Lin Ke stood in front of the microphone, his voice gentle and powerful. Seeing you, I seem to see the future of Nasang, as if I saw the picture of Nasang ruling the entire star world. Nasang ruling the entire star world! Exclamation mark. Everyone couldn't help but take a breath. This is simply saying that the Earth will rule the entire universe in the future, which is equally incredible and far away. Of course, at present, Nasang is the overlord of the surrounding area, which is different from the situation on Earth. I have a dream. Then, Lin Ke's voice slowly flowed out from the loudspeaker microphone, and the leader in his mind trembled slightly, and an invisible temperament emerged spontaneously. I hope that our human race can coexist harmoniously and happily with all races. I hope that all life in Nasang can coexist harmoniously and happily together. I hope that all intelligent life in our star realm can coexist harmoniously and happily. Lin Ke's voice gradually became passionate as he spoke. Many years ago, my black and white kingdom broke away from the slave rule of the Holy Life Alliance. The nobles led the human race to liberate themselves and became the human race we are today. I have always been against judging heroes by race and bloodline. The one who stood at the top of the Holy Life Alliance back then was afraid and terrified of the rise of the human race, so he defined the human race as slave life. Unfortunately, our human race has been constantly striving for self-improvement and finally reached the strength it is today. I believe that even a bloodline with inferior talent can make an indelible contribution to the human race, and even an ordinary person can write a great chapter. Supreme thoughts, great art, timeless literature, eternal wisdom, these things do not conflict with powerful forces, nor are they causally related. It's not that, if you have great power, you can have other things, and it's not that, if you have other things, you will have great power. Some intelligent life has great power, but is extremely stupid, and some intelligent life, although it doesn't have great power, has thoughts, culture, and art that no one can deny. As weak as a fishman, it can also give birth to a strange thing like a fishman root, and as powerful as a dragon. There are also extremely stupid beings. However, the Holy Life Alliance divides all life into several levels. It thinks that the holy life can be above all life. What's the result? As far as I know, at least Emperor Wumian does not agree with the view that the holy life is the strongest. The audience below laughed kindly. It is an indisputable fact that Emperor Wumian suppressed the entire plane. However, many people, especially those in the Holy Life Alliance, showed a thoughtful look. The level division of the Holy Life Alliance is indeed unreasonable. How despicable and lowly the Ratman race was in the past, but it still gave birth to a wise and powerful existence like the Ratman Lord. However, countless intelligent races in the Holy Life Alliance know about this, but no one said anything. What to say, when the strongest of the Holy Life Alliance does not exist? Not to mention others, the Sun God, the Master, is the pillar that suppresses the Holy Life Alliance. Although other races are also very powerful, there are at most a few legends and gods, and there is only one master level. Therefore, this country has been solidified from top to bottom. However, the concept of our great wilderness university is to use knowledge and hard work to get rid of mediocrity and solidification, and to study at university for the ultimate rise of Nassim. You have to prove to yourself that your race is not worse than the holy life, and you also have to prove that your soul is not noble because of the rarity of blood, but because of thoughts, morality, wisdom, etc. Lin Ke never believed that a person's birth can determine a person's death. The process between the starting point and the end point is very important. If his students only complain about the world and sigh that fate is unfair, then basically they will not achieve much. You are in the School of Physics, and you can see the various laws of the changes in the star realm over countless years. The truth of physics and matter. Those are the laws brought about by the changes of matter, and the beauty of matter will unfold one by one in your eyes. Your eyes can deceive you, your ears can deceive you, the entire star realm can deceive you, but mathematics will not. The results of mathematics are what they are. The School of Mathematics should be proud of this. The strength of a knight is never about the charge, never about the mount, and never about the level, but about the will to fight for, the courage to charge at, and the core of the chivalrous spirit. This is a truly powerful knight. How many kinds of matter are there in the world? What are their cornerstones? What changes will occur when these cornerstones are combined? Chemistry will bring all of this, and you can use paper and pen to know whether two elements will blend beautifully when they meet or explode and blow up the castle. Do you really understand your body, your mount, your friends, and the creatures you know? Do you really understand them completely? Systems, organs, flesh, and blood. The mysteries of biology can even rival the truth of physics. School of Economics. Lin Ke's voice at this time changed back and forth between passionate, questioning, asking, confident, and sighing tones. Each sentence corresponds to a college of Dahuang University. Lin Ke is cheering for all colleges. In summary, every college and every subject has its own unique features, just like your blood. There is no weakest blood, only the weakest person. There is no weakest major, only the weakest person. No matter what, every major has the potential to give birth to a legend. Even every major can give birth to a new law. If you don't believe it, you can think about the goddess of finance. Think about Miss Jiu. At this point, Lin Ke paused. So, please work hard. Climb to the top and become your own legend. As soon as the voice fell, there was a fierce applause from below. Lin Ke's speech was not long-winded, meaningless, or profound. There was only a clear meaning and simple and clear truth. Moreover, they all felt that Lin Ke's words were extremely correct. Chapter 536, Imitation. College time arrives. The only one who can look down on yourself is you. The only one who can give up on yourself is you. What can't kill you can only make you stronger. After saying this, Lin Ke walked down from the podium. Below, countless students raised their heads. Not referring to the head of the body, but the soul. They just felt that they no longer wanted to keep bowing their heads. In Dahuang City and Dahuang University, there are the 5 major members of the Everfrizz Council, that is, the Conifer people, the Frost Wolf, etc., with strong blood. There are also the Minotaurs, Elephant people, Tiger people, and even Rat people of the Holy Life Alliance. But in addition to these races, there are also relatively humble and weak lizard people, ant people, etc. At this time, these races that were originally born in a humble way, or those with weak blood talents, or those whose blood types are too common or too rare, all raise their heads. A feeling of worship for Lin Ke arose spontaneously. The leader in Lin Ke's soul space shook slightly, slowly accepting this kind of reverence and respect from his students. Lin Ke opened the hearts of many people. Whether they blamed fate for being unfair or felt inferior, whether they knew they were special or ignorant, they all benefited from Lin Ke's words. Yes. Didn't they take the exam to enter Dahuang University, to change their own destiny? Not to change blood, not to change race, but to change destiny, and change the trajectory of life. This is their direction. Countless students' eyes were burning with flames. Even many faculty members were thinking about it. Although I'm a rice cooker, I must become the king of rice cookers. Let every student have enough food. For so many years, I thought that we elephants could not win by agility. It seems that I was wrong. I'm going to try it. Maybe I can beat my wife in speed. Humph, a mere abbot man. With my efforts, my speed must not be as fast as mine. Education, teaching. It turns out that this is the true meaning of education, using education to eliminate the gap. Whether it is students or faculty members, they all began to whisper to each other. Even those legends and gods were thinking about it. Thank you for the president's advice. John went on stage again and started the next agenda. Next, please invite all the deans to come on stage to give speeches. First, the dean of the School of Physics, Mr. Orff. As soon as he finished speaking, a flash of lightning appeared on the stage. It was Orff. Although he has trained a lot in recent years, Orff is still a little socially anxious. Fortunately, Lin Ke had prepared the manuscript for him a long time ago, so it was not too empty. I'm Orff. Orff began to talk, but he didn't talk for long. After a while, he stepped down, after finishing his speech. Next, please welcome the Dean of the Night Academy. Boom. A huge figure riding a giant elephant appeared on the stage. He was a legend from the Middle Ages, a prince from the Black and White family of the Black and White Kingdom, the giant elephant Night King. I agree with Lin Ke. Knights, you should abide by your heart. Next, legends or gods appeared on the stage as deans, and then showed their majesty and power. Legend again. God, see God again. The deans of Dahuang University are either legends or gods. Each of them had a majestic and powerful aura, and their gestures could cause the space to tremble, and the laws to fluctuate. After being encouraged by Lin Ke and intimidated by these strong men, the students were in turmoil, and they also felt that they had benefited a lot. Today's first lecture also announced the official opening of Dahuang University. The opening of Dahuang is not only a matter for Dahuang University, but also an important matter for Dahuang City, and it is also a matter that attracts the entire nation. At the same time, no one noticed. In the core area of the Holy Life Alliance, next to a huge sun, a building rose from the ground. There were spatial fluctuations in it, and it was estimated that there was more than one teleportation array inside. In the ever-frozen court, under a magnificent iceberg, a giant ice crystal deer stomped its feet lightly, and the air thousands of miles away was instantly drained of moisture, and an ice and snow castle slowly condensed out along with it. In the far west countries, there are similar buildings on the territories of dozens of forces. Even in the distant eternal twilight continent, that is, the Feldjima continent, similar things happened. If someone looks carefully at these buildings, they will find that, apart from the external structure and internal design, at least the core design ideas are very similar to the teaching buildings of the Great Wilderness University. In addition to the teaching buildings, there are also canteens, dormitory buildings, etc. Various forces, through various methods, obtained the internal situation of the Great Wilderness University, obtained the specific situation of the Great Wilderness University, and imitated it. None of these forces, that have existed for thousands of years, are really fools. These forces can naturally distinguish what is truly potential, powerful, advanced, and desirable. Therefore, before the opening of the school in the Great Wilderness, no force said anything, and they were all silent, even those who were hostile to Lin Ke. But after the opening of the school in the Great Wilderness University, these forces immediately took action. In just one day, dozens of universities sprang up, and filled the entire Naseng news. So, the reporters in the Great Wilderness were dumbfounded. Fortunately, one of the basic qualities of reporters is not to be shocked by major events. Any major event will only be a part of their writing. After seeing so many major events, they don't care anymore. So, whether it is Nassen's Vision or the People's Monthly Report, the headlines are almost the same. That is, college time is here. The Holy Life Alliance established the Sun University and distinguished the colleges by race, suspected to be a response to the remarks of the Duke of Lava. The Frost Castle School of the Everfrizz Council will open today. The number of students will be decided by the 5 major families. Those who are related should contact them as soon as possible. The Killer Academy will be built in the Despair Pond. Those who join need to sign a killer contract. One by one, the intelligent races of Nassen are so satisfied. In the past, Nassen would only have a major event every few hundred years, and would only shock the entire continent once every few thousand years. But when Lin Ke appeared, information circulation, commodity circulation, economic circulation, the intelligent life of Nassen found that the times are changing too fast. If there were no newspapers, bulletin boards, and live broadcast photo stones at any time, it is estimated that many people would feel like they came out of the mountains when they went out. Of course, even if there are these things, not every intelligent life or every race can accept them. Especially those forces that are hostile to Lin Ke. For example, the Holy Life Alliance has a much lower rate of laying live broadcast stone than other forces, and the newspaper coverage rate is even lower. And one of the things Lin Ke has to do at this time is to go to the Holy Life Alliance. There is another race waiting for him to fool. Chapter 537, The Tauren Chieftain's Old Friend. Bang! A huge wild boar was smashed to the ground by a strong Tauren warrior, and then several female Tauren came forward and carried away the wild boar as tall as a 2-story building. It's back. Kisu. Another Tauren warrior came forward to greet him. The harvest is quite good. Yes. But recently, it's getting harder and harder to hunt prey in the surrounding forests. The strong Tauren warrior shook his head and looked at the woods behind him. Our tribe and the Axe-Tooth tribe both want to hunt more, so there will naturally be less prey. Axe-Tooth tribe. Another Tauren warrior widened his eyes. White air sprayed from his nostrils. Damn Axe-Tooth tribe. I must kill all their warriors and rob all their beauties. Shut up. At this moment, a terrifying roar came from the distance, as if an ancient giant beast was roaring. The 2 Minotaur warriors looked over and immediately stood up straight with their heads down. Chief. A tall Minotaur was carrying a Tyrannosaurus Rex with a broken neck and walking towards this side. With each step, the ground shook slightly. A level 15 Tyrannosaurus Rex. The overlord of a forest somewhere nearby. The 2 Minotaur naturally knew about this Tyrannosaurus Rex. Unexpectedly, this forest overlord was killed by their chief. Then, the Minotaur people in the tribe ran out happily, dancing with joy. Chief. The powerful chief. The most powerful Minotaur. Eat meat. Endless meat. Dinosaur meat. Oh 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 oh. I want to eat the dragon whip. Of course, after the chief has finished eating. This Tyrannosaurus Rex is very powerful, but also very cunning. It never confronts their chief head on, but as long as a less powerful Minotaur goes in, he will be injured. If he can't escape, he will even be killed. Their chief came over and threw the Tyrannosaurus Rex on the ground, and the ground shook again. Then the chief slapped them on the back of the head and cursed with a smile. Who told you to curse that old thing, Axetooth? Humph, I'm the only one in the whole Nassen who can curse him. The Tauran warrior who carried the wild boar back at the beginning touched his sore back of the head and said naively, "Can't we curse the Emperor Woomian?" The chief was stunned, scratched the thick chest hair on his chest, and then said, "Of course, even a strong man like the Emperor Woomian can be cursed." Tauran warrior, then can't we curse the sun god? Chief, although the sun god is despicable, he is also very strong. Chief, where is the 5-colored dragon mother? And the moon goddess, by the way, the Everfrozen Council. Enough. I told you to shut up. Damn it, anyone can curse Axetooth. Okay, sure enough. Lin Ke is right, you haven't read too few books. But chief, you can't read either. Every time you just read comics. Pa. The Tauran warrior was hit on the back of the head again, and then the chief went into the house cursing. Behind the Tauran chieftain, other warriors also came back one after another. Seeing the Tauran chieftain's harvest, they couldn't help but be excited. The death of this Tyrannosaurus Rex means that their tribe has one more hunting ground. When the chieftain returned to the house, he washed his hands full of black mud and dust, and then couldn't wait to sit cross-legged and take out a book from a wooden cabinet. Compared with his hands, this book was like a cat's paw in an elephant's palm, small and fragile. So he washed his hands, wiped off the water, took out the book, and opened it carefully. On it, there were cartoons. This swordsman named Hanli is really amazing. The Tauran chieftain read the cartoon happily and used magic to protect it, fearing that it would be damaged. He read this comic called Mortal Magic Legend and learned a lot. For example, pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger, showing weakness to the enemy, etc. So the treacherous Tyrannosaurus Rex was successfully deceived and lured to death by him. And the author of this comic is the pioneer of this new form of art, Lin Ke. He was also his ally who fought together with him in the Farther Plane. The Tauran chieftain admired this old friend from the bottom of his heart. They, the Taurans, have always admired the strong and the wise. Just like the elephants have always worshipped big, huge, and bigger. The Taurans respect the strong, and respect the intelligent life even more. And what about his old friend Lin Ke? A strong man. Maybe it is very controversial now. After all, the strength of human beings is controversial. Except for a few humans, such as the Emperor Woomian, many humans can only rely on the power of the group to become strong. This is also the reason why the human knights are strong. It is not the knights who are strong, but the knights who are organized. Lin Ke's strength, at least for now, is the strength of the knights and the Great Wilderness Legion under Lin Ke. But the Tauran chieftain knows how old his old friend Lin Ke is now. In his 20s, even if it is multiplied several times, it is only 300 years old. At this age, he is only in his teens. How can those races that need a long age to experience the growth period, maturity period, complete body, and ultimate body survive? Lin Ke is such a genius. So strong. He has an army that he built himself, and he is a genius with a strong talent. This has made the Minotaur tribe respect him. However, the Minotaur chief gradually realized that he was still too shallow. Lin Ke, who invented comics, is really the greatest person in the history of Nassen. The Minotaur chief couldn't help but sigh. However, at this moment, when he saw the Hanli swordsman transformed into Liu, he suddenly felt an extremely strong wave coming from afar. Is this my old friend? The Minotaur chief raised his head and looked to the west, squinted his eyes, then quickly put away the comic book, and then went out of the house and soared into the sky. He rushed towards the direction of the powerful momentum. Then in the air, he found other figures. Big Horn. It seems that your bull nose is quite sensitive. Not far away, a Minotaur with a broken horn shouted at the Minotaur chief. The tribe where the Tauran chieftain belongs to is the Bighorn tribe, so he is also called Bighorn by other intelligent beings. HMPH, Axetooth, sooner or later I will snatch your wife and have her give birth to a calf for me. Bighorn Chieftain hit back without any hesitation. The Tauran chieftain of the Axetooth tribe widened his eyes upon seeing this, and the next moment he was about to fly over and punch Bighorn. Bighorn also stared with his eyes wide open like copper bells, waving his fists and rushing over. Okay, let's go see that strong man first. At this moment, the chieftain of another tribe in this area also flew up, but it was a female rabbit man with a completely black body. The two Tauran chieftains snorted at each other upon seeing this, but stopped their attack. Bighorn, you seem to know who that is. The black rabbit man flew between the two Tauran chieftains and asked softly. Of course, that smiled friend. Throwing a tantrum and rolling around, acting cute, crying and begging for monthly tickets. Chapter 538 Holy Life Alliance. Oh. The female black rabbit raised her eyebrows. This female black rabbit was about 1.7 meters tall, like a pet dog between two minotaurs who were more than 2 meters tall. But this female black rabbit was curvy, with two big ears hanging behind her head like long hair, and her eyes were full of charm. So, the two minotaurs chiefs were trembling, but recovered in an instant. Why does this little rabbit blink all day? But it's quite cute. If the muscles were more developed, the chest hair was harder, and the butt was bigger. Well, that hippopotamus man, that day was really a beauty on earth. The Bighorn chief couldn't help but start to be distracted, and then smacked his lips and said, but if that person comes to our territory, it's probably not a good thing. Let's go and see. Yeah. The black rabbit nodded, and didn't say much. So the three of them flew westward. Is this the Holy Life Alliance? Lin Ke held the storm rat, and stepped onto the land of the Holy Life Alliance from the coastline. In a sense, this was his first time to come to the Holy Life Alliance. In the past, he had just passed by or accidentally stepped on it, but this time, he came to the Holy Life Alliance specifically. And, it was a secret visit. Mr. Lin Ke, this is my first time here too. Nyx answered behind Lin Ke. In addition to Nyx, there was also Lady Black Mountain accompanying him. Lin Ke came here secretly this time, and the others were not suitable. Among the followers, only these two people were slightly familiar with the Holy Life Alliance. Of course, it was mainly Lady Black Mountain. Nyx was born in the lava swamp, and was not familiar with the Holy Life Alliance. Lady Black Mountain was relatively familiar. At least she was a member of the Holy Life Alliance when she was a child, and later became Lin Ke's follower after many twists and turns. We have to go to the nearest large tribe, and then we can turn to the Tauran, right? Lin Ke asked. Madam Black Mountain nodded. Yes, sir. The Holy Life Alliance has always been a tribal system, and there are no cities. Time and space teleportation arrays are generally only found in large tribes. Lin Ke nodded and identified the direction. There should be a large tribe called Shackle Fox people in the northwest, right? Madam Black Mountain took out a photo stone and input magic power, and an image immediately appeared on it. This is the map of the Holy Life Alliance. There are very few maps within the Holy Life Alliance, and they are very rare. There are many reasons. One is that the intelligent beings of the Holy Life Alliance rarely go far away, and they may basically stay around the tribe all their lives. Second, even if they go out, these intelligent beings have their own talents, such as the sense of smell of dog people, such as the magnetic field perception of some bird intelligent beings, etc. Maps are rarely used, and it is easy for humans to be shouted and killed when they enter here, so there is little point in drawing maps, so there are very few maps in the Holy Life Alliance. In addition, the tribes here often attack and fight each other, or fight with monsters. So there are many cases where this mountain is gone, that mountain is gone, and this river is dry. Not to mention the changes caused by food, disease, environment, climate, geological movement, etc., such as tribal migration, tribal extinction, etc. This also caused the map to be updated in a delayed manner, so gradually not many places had the Holy Life Alliance map. However, the Scarlet Wilderness, which was in charge of Lady Black Mountain, had everything. As long as there was something in the Black and White Kingdom, the Scarlet Wilderness had it, and if there was nothing in the Black and White Kingdom, the Scarlet Wilderness also had it. Of course, even if there was nothing, there would be news and clues. The map in Lady Black Mountain's hand at this time was a map of the eastern part of the Holy Life Alliance. She took the photo stone and looked at it carefully. After a while, she said, "Go in this direction," and pointed to the west. Without waiting for Lin Ke to ask, Lady Black Mountain said, "Over the years, the Shaker tribe and the Dripping Spider tribe in the north have had more than 60 conflicts and more than 100 large-scale wars. In the end, the surrounding areas were destroyed, and the two tribes had to migrate. The latest record is that 100 years ago, a merchant passed through the Shaker tribe and exchanged a batch of magical beast furs and other goods. The place where they were originally belonged to the border of the Holy Life Alliance, bordering the lava swamp. It was extremely desolate all year round and no one did business at all. If you want to do business, you still have to look at other places in the Black and White Kingdom that border the Holy Life Alliance. The trade in those places is developed. This direction is uninhabited, and few merchants are willing to travel so far. Lin Ke and his friends can only leave it to fate and look for it according to the previous map. The Holy Life Alliance is so large that, if you deviate a little, you may have to go hundreds of kilometers to find a large tribe. Of course, this time, in addition to abduction, in addition to persuading the previous Tauran chieftain and others to join the Great Wilderness, the more important thing is the mineral vein. Or, there is too little, or in the Black and White Kingdom. Where are there more ores? The Holy Life Alliance. The various intelligent races here consume the least mineral veins, because most of the races here have always felt that they cannot abandon traditions and become profit-driven like humans. Therefore, almost all tribes have tacitly set a fixed quota for the mineral veins to be sold, so that most people are warriors rather than miners. This also means that there are still many mineral veins in the Holy Life Alliance, whether they have been discovered or unexplored. Then let's go, find the Tauran chieftain, and then let him introduce the owners of those mineral veins. Lin Ke briefly explained the arrangements, and then took out his physical bicycle from the space ring. Mrs. Black Mountain and Nix also took out their own bicycles, which were tailor-made. The three of them rode on the bicycles and rushed to the west. After driving for about 3 hours, Lin Ke felt that the driving process was like driving from civilization into the wilderness. Originally in the Black and White Kingdom, the elements were so calm, docile, and orderly, and the sky and the earth were so kind. And here, as I completely entered the Holy Life Alliance, a wild atmosphere came to my face. Desolate, desolate, savage. The sky is high and the earth is thick. Even the molecular element in the air are aging and roaring, like giant beasts. Lin Ke may even feel that the laws are even wilder. Some laws, such as flesh tearing, heavy tiger claws, earth pulse and other laws, are clearly visible in Lin Ke's perception. Here is the Holy Life Alliance. Lin Ke took a deep breath, and the air was mixed with the fragrance of soil, grass, and blood. Wait. Blood? Exclamation mark. Lin Ke quickly braked and glanced around. Something's going on. Another boy's gone. Gaoyan. Boys can be roses, girls can be lions, and prejudice is the boundary that distinguishes love from hate. Chapter 539 Bloody Sacrifice. Nix and Ishan also stopped their bikes quickly. Nix's bike was small, like a child's walker, but Ishan's bike was a huge tractor. There was no way. Ishan had the blood of wild boars, and was very large. He had been well nourished over the years, and seemed to have started to grow again. He was so tall and fat that he was almost as big as an elephant man. The two of them stopped with Lin Ke and immediately became alert. Nix's hair turned black in an instant, and green gas emerged from his palms and lingered around him. Occupation Poison Master. Ishan took the hairpin-like pen from his hair, took out a piece of ASIN paper at random, and looked around vigilantly. Occupation Businessman. As for Lin Ke, he naturally took out the Thunder Wrist Strength Ball and scanned the surroundings vigilantly. The three of them made a lot of noise just now, and they might be discovered. And Lin Ke could smell that the smell of blood was not like the normal forest beasts hunting, but the bloody smell of a sea of blood composed of countless flesh and blood. There must be something wrong. After putting away their respective mounts, the three walked forward slowly and carefully, always paying attention to the movements around them. Lin Ke also gave them group farsighting and optical invisibility. Gradually, Lin Ke and the others sensed violent fluctuations coming from the front. Someone is fighting. And this kind of magic fluctuation is definitely not something that can be transmitted by one person. There are many people fighting. The three looked at each other and then quickly galloped in that direction. When they arrived a few kilometers away, they saw the two sides of the battle. Intelligent life and magic beasts. As we all know, the distinction between intelligent life and magic beasts is not in appearance, but in race. When a race has a high level of intelligence from birth, and can get rid of instinct to a certain extent, after training and education, this race is generally called an intelligent race. So, for example, the Frost Wolf clan, the Ice Crystal Giant Deer, etc., are all intelligent life like humans, and may even have been intelligent life before humans became intelligent life. But magic beasts are different. Wisdom is something that cannot be determined for magic beasts. Some are stupid, no matter how powerful they are, and some know how to survive, no matter how weak they are. Moreover, there is generally no inheritance and wisdom among the Warcraft races. Only the father and mother protect the children, and teach them hunting and survival skills. At this time, the two sides fighting are the people of the Holy Life Alliance and the Warcraft. I saw all kinds of strange people and all kinds of strange Warcraft fighting together, causing the element to vibrate, the surrounding winds to rage, and blood to flow like a river. However, although there are many of them, the upper limit of energy is not that high. That is, the upper limit of the level should not be particularly high. Don't be afraid. Warriors. Kill. The bloodthirsty and treacherous fox is watching us. Roar. On the battlefield, the sounds of fighting, and beast roars were deafening. Anger, fear, despair, or boiling murderous intent. Lin Ke and the other two hid their bodies and sneaked over. The most numerous race on the side of the Holy Life Alliance in front of them is the Fox people. The Fox people of this large Shaker tribe belong to ordinary life, below the Holy Life and Upper Life, and above the Lower Life and Slave Life. It is considered a race with good strength. The Shackle Foxmen in front of us were holding stone spears, stone knives and other magic weapons, to fight against the monsters. On the ground, the most corpses were nothing but slave life, and servants. The densely packed corpses of ant servants piled up into a mountain, and the red blood flowed together, gathering into a stream, and then outlined mysterious traces on the ground. Roar. A huge wolf bit off the waist of a tiger man, but was pierced by a spear the next moment. Although the body of the giant wolf and the tiger man suffered severance and penetration wounds, they were still fighting. This is because they are both level 15 strong men. Yes, the strongest man on the monster side is a giant wolf, while the strongest man on the foxman side is a sturdy tiger man. The two elemental strong men can basically avoid death from ordinary physical damage. Unless it is lord damage, it is difficult to kill with physical damage. No matter how serious the injury is, it can be cured by. But I saw the blood of these two strong men gurgling out and gathering into the magic circle formed by the blood below. The two strong men were not even dead, but their blood seemed to be attracted to flow to the ground. Of course, this situation is everywhere. Many injured people found that their wounds were bleeding, and the blood gathered together to form the mysterious magic circle. On the ground, Lin Ke looked at the magic circle and frowned. The secret text engraved on the magic circle. Lin Ke quickly searched the records in his mind. He knew the importance of knowledge since he was a child, so he studied hard and read widely, and his achievements in secret texts were not low. In just a moment, Lin Ke saw what kind of magic circle this was. Element, blood absorption, sacred, God's descendant. These secret texts will indicate one thing, that is, this magic circle is used to summon gods. The bloodthirsty and treacherous fox, the only god of the fox people, a 22nd level veteran god, but it is said that in recent years, he has been seeking breakthroughs, so he has been working in the secondary plane and harvesting faith. Hishan bent down and whispered in Lin Ke's ear, only level 22. I remember he existed in the Middle Ages, right? Nix was surprised. The fox people can at least offer 3 or 4 gods, right? Why is there only one god? Also, I remember that the fox people don't seem to have any legends. Yes. Hishan smiled. The fox people are generally smart, but the Holy Life Alliance has always been inferior to the Black and White Kingdom in terms of knowledge, so they can only choose to improve their physical strength. but it is decided that it is difficult to be promoted on both sides. Then why don't you choose to join the Black and White Kingdom? Nyx was surprised, and Lin Ke also looked at Ishan with an inquiring look. The fox people are too smart, generally smart, or treacherous, so that there are very few people who truly believe in and worship the gods, but other races believe in him more. Ishan shook his head. The bloodthirsty and treacherous fox is one of the gods of the sun god system, and the sun god is in control. After saying that, both of them understood. The control and conspiracy of the sun god are well known to everyone. Even every leader of the Holy Life Alliance in previous years had to fight against the sun god. If they did not fight, or could not defeat the sun god, they would even be laughed at and looked down upon by the major tribes and races. It seems that this bloody sacrifice is to summon that god. Lin Ke's eyes flashed. I remember, there seems to be a blue silver purple iron mine here. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 540, Plotting Against a God. Mr. Lin Ke, you want to? Nyx narrowed his eyes, and Ishan's eyes also flickered. Remember the black gold volcano demon bull? Lin Ke smiled. The black gold volcano demon bull that became a god in Phaser before, after more than 3,900 breedings, selected 55 varieties. The black gold volcano demon bull was a mount that Lin Ke subdued when he was in the Phaser plane, which was very suitable for his thermodynamics skills. And the history of this race in Phaser is also very tortuous. Of course, for the black gold volcano demon bull that became a god, it was even more tortuous. After meeting Lin Ke in the Mount Laboratory of Dahuang City, this god suffered inhumane exploitation and was finally released back to Phaser when his godhood was about to collapse. In this process, 55 useful varieties were born, or in other words, mutations occurred. The other varieties did not mutate, but simply inherited the genes of the black gold volcano demon bull or other cattle, similar to the lion tiger beast. Among these 55 varieties, one variety has a characteristic, that is, it can absorb and control blood. This ability is even stronger than the vampires that have disappeared in the history of Nassim. So, Nyx and Ishan looked at each other, then looked at Lin Ke. We are going to plot against a god. Yes. Lin Ke added, plot against a bloodthirsty and treacherous god of the fox people. Just because of the blue silver purple iron ore? Nyx frowned, a little puzzled. If it is just for a vein of ore, we have to offend a god. You have to know that they don't have a great wilderness knights behind them now. Without the Lord of the Knights, it's like a flying bat without wings, and can only wait to die. And Ishan was thoughtful. Not for the vein of ore. Lin Ke smiled. A light flashed in his eyes. For the Shaker tribe and the fox people. For the Shaker tribe and the fox people? Question mark? At this time, Ishan spoke. She pointed to the bloody sacrificial magic circle not far away and said, Lord Lin Ke, do you think so? As the only god of the fox people, he is also one of the weapons of the sun god, to clamp down on the fox people. If this god is killed, the fox people will obediently turn to the black and white kingdom. Nyx raised his eyebrows and immediately understood what Ishan meant. If the Shaker tribe, or the entire fox people, turned against them, it would be equivalent to the largest tribe in this area of the coastline turning to the black and white kingdom. At that time, so many fox people, so many people from the Shaker tribe, once they leave, the southeastern part of the Holy Life Alliance will be almost undefended. You know, another legend of the fox people is a strong man who guarded the border of the lava swamp back then, but he was not controlled by the sun god. At that time, the border is undefended. If the Black and White Kingdom has any bad intentions, the southeastern part of the Holy Life Alliance may fall quickly. After listening to Ishan, Lin Ke nodded slightly and replied, this is just an idea. What I'm mainly thinking about now is how to circumvent the Nassim Joint Agreement. Nassim Joint Agreement. This is a treaty signed by the Black and White Kingdom, aimed at protecting the entire Nassim. Thanks to this agreement, Nassim is not full of secondary playing gods running around, and there are no professionals or magicians bombing everywhere. However, if Lin Ke, as the Duke of the Black and White Kingdom, violates the interests of the Holy Life Alliance, Nasan may be caught in the flames of war. Or Emperor Wu Mian will hand over Lin Ke to calm the anger of the entire Holy Life Alliance. Nix and Ishan were shocked by Lin Ke's plan, and were thinking quickly about the pros and cons. It was too sudden. Originally, they just wanted to pass through the Shackle Fox tribe, and then use the space-time teleportation array, to go to the territory of the Minotaur tribe, and abduct all the Minotaur people from those tribes. Who knew that they encountered them performing a bloody sacrifice, and then the lava lord they followed actually made a series of plans for the gods who had not yet appeared. It was amazing. Nix's admiration for Lin Ke arose spontaneously, and Ishan also admired Lin Ke's wisdom and sharpness. Or, you go first, wait for me in the tribe of the Tauran chief. Lin Ke suddenly smiled, and thought of a solution. The descendants of the Black Gold Volcano Demon Bull are now strictly confidential. Only the researchers and I know, so. I'm not Lin Ke, I'm someone else. As he spoke, a plain key appeared in Lin Ke's hand, and then he summoned a scollard cattle-like demon beast from a small space. The two horns were like two broken arms, and the tips of the horns were strange branches. Level 5 Demon Beast, Blood Red Demon Bull. Moo. The Blood Red Demon Bull looked at Lin Ke with its dark eyes, and then acted coquettishly to Lin Ke, and arched Lin Ke's hand. Good boy. Lin Ke patted the Blood Red Demon Bull's head, and then nodded to Nix and Ishan. Nix and Ishan looked at each other, and then took out magic tools, to cover their figures and breath, hid their figures, and rushed towards the distance. Lin Ke stood in place, and took out a scepter. It's not the lava scepter, but, the wand of annihilation. It also contains a full strength attack from the ancient mermaid kingdom Emperor Tarzik. Then, the gecko bracelet on Lin Ke's wrist suddenly merged into his body. His height remained unchanged, but his figure began to change all of a sudden. His skin became loose and wrinkled, his hair turned pure white, and a grey beard grew out, and his clothes were pure white. At the same time, the wand of annihilation suddenly grew longer, and became as tall as Lin Ke. Next, I will be Gandalf the White. Lin Ke smiled slightly, touched his newly grown white beard, and his voice became old and full of justice, and his aura also changed. Unless you are proficient in the path of the strong soul, you can't find his changes. The gecko bracelet Andrew gave him is really useful. The Blood Red Demon Bull next to him was a little stunned. Moo. The Blood Red Demon Bull cautiously and tentatively called out. Okay, it's still me, your master. Lin Ke's voice changed back, and he revealed a trace of aura to the Blood Red Demon Bull. The Blood Red Demon Bull heaved a sigh of relief, then he arched Lin Ke's old hand, and looked at the blood flowing down his feet. Don't worry. Lin Ke smiled, and touched its head. I know your blood control ability is comparable to that of a legend, but you can only do it in the dark, otherwise you will die. In addition, we have to wait for a god. Moo. The Blood Red Demon Bull obviously has a very high IQ. Lin Ke looked at the Blood Red Demon Bull, and felt very satisfied. It seems that the sacrifice of the Black Gold Volcano Demon Bull is still meaningful. Look, such a good offspring has been cultivated. Well, maybe the Blood Red Demon Bull can be cultivated into a race in the future. Lin Ke gently stroked the rough back of the Blood Red Demon Bull, with thoughts flying in his mind. The Blood Red Demon Bull felt an inexplicable chill, as if he was about to encounter some danger, so he subconsciously moved closer to Lin Ke, thinking, Master is still good. I feel so safe around my master. Chapter 541 Cthulhu? Moo. The Blood Red Demon Bull looked at the ground where blood flowed like a river, and couldn't help licking his tongue. It was born to be the king of blood control. It can control all kinds of blood since birth. Moreover, compared with its brothers and sisters, its mind is more mature, not like a wild beast dominated by instinct. Therefore, it can be chosen by the great master. Moo. The Blood Red Demon Bull looked at the blood, and wanted to absorb all the blood immediately, turning it into firewood for its growth, so that its level would rise. However, the master didn't let it move, so it could only stay. Kill. The tiger leader swung his spear tightly, repelling the giant wolf, and cutting off half of the giant wolf's tail, but his right arm was also broken. The two sides immediately absorbed element to repair their injuries, and the elemental bodies soon recovered. However, the blood in the soul space of the two sides had reached the limit, and was almost squeezed out. While fighting, The tiger leader couldn't help but shift his attention downwards. He was watching the result of this bloody sacrifice. The same thing happened to the giant wolf. There were only a few monsters left on the battlefield, and none of its wolves were left. It didn't know what the magic circle made of blood was for, but it knew that these people came for their blood. Abu! The giant wolf let out a long and mournful cry, trying to spread the sound far away. But the monsters within 100 miles were basically gone, and other powerful monsters would not enter its territory for no reason. Therefore, its wolf howl was destined to be heard by few monsters. Of course, this was just its dying howl, and it didn't expect any reinforcement. Kill you, and my god will be able to escape from the distant secondary plane and return to Natham. The tiger leader said in a grim tone, and rushed towards the giant wolf together with several other fox people. The giant wolf's muscles were tense, and a giant wolf phantom howling to the sky appeared above its body, and then it stared at a weaker fox assassin, and element flashed on its claws. Skill, hunting. Tear the law. The giant wolf was determined to die, no longer holding back, and aimed its claws at the fragile fox assassin, and its figure flashed away. Crack. The fox assassin, who was only level 12, was torn apart in an instant, and his body was still flickering, as if he wanted to use some skills. But the difference in level and the addition of the law made him die on the spot in just a moment. The giant wolf's body fell down, and hit the ground heavily, staring at the tiger and fox people slowly approaching from the sky, breathing slightly and absorbing the element in the air. Not far away, the magic circle formed by a large amount of blood was already emitting a bright glow, and groups of new ant servants were driven in from the distant city, and then killed by other fox people in batches. In the end, only a group of ant servants were left kneeling around the magic circle and chanting loudly. However, the strange thing was that, while these ant servants were chanting, they were cutting their hand arteries and throats, or directly stabbing their hearts with sharp knives and daggers. A steady stream of blood flowed out of the bodies of the ant servants, and gathered in the magic circle. Some ant men cut off their 5 arthropod fingers, put them in their mouths, chewed and chanted. Some directly took out their eyeballs, then broke off the antennae on their heads, inserted them into the empty eye sockets, and chanted, "Give your eyes, and feel the real world." Lin Ke, who was hiding on the side, narrowed his eyes instantly. This is definitely not a bloody sacrifice. The bloody sacrifice is a ritual to please and summon some gods. It is only used to summon the gods. The gods can choose to teleport or ignore it, so the more this ritual can please the gods, the more useful it is. The bloody sacrifice of the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox is a ritual that has been passed down from ancient times to the present. The summoning teleportation array is constructed with magic-rich blood, and then loyal believers can summon the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox through prayer. Most of the ancient gods of the Holy Life Alliance chose these rituals. After all, in those times, blood and fear were the best sources of faith. However, the weirdness of this sacrifice is far beyond the description of the blood sacrifice. Some ant servants pierced their stomachs and swallowed their smelly intestines whole, as if they were eating rice noodles. All the ant servants went crazy. The tiger leader and several other fox people had no time to care about the giant wolf, and they all fled away from the magic circle. What's going on? The tiger man was shocked and angry. What are these ant servants doing? Where is their mother ant? The ordinary ant queen of the Holy Life Alliance dare not be called queen. I don't know. A fox warrior next to him was also terrified. The blood sacrifice of my god should not be like this. Just when everyone was terrified, they naturally didn't notice that the giant wolf had disappeared inexplicably. And just when they wanted to escape, but were afraid of being liquidated afterwards, the blood sacrifice magic circle suddenly flashed. Wow. A huge foxtail rose up from the magic circle, and then swept towards the blood and corpses in the magic circle, and was actually absorbed by the tail. Looking closely, this tail is not an ordinary foxtail. There is not a single hair on this foxtail, but it is bald, and the fat fleshy tail is covered with tumors. And between the tumors, there are strange round mouths, which are full of circles of sharp teeth, looking ferocious and terrifying. Looking at this thing, Lin Ke felt that his sanity value dropped wildly. Is this the tale of a bloodthirsty and treacherous fox? Exclamation mark. And in this moment of distraction, He saw that the strange tail quickly retracted into the magic circle, and then a fox 3 or 4 meters tall jumped out from the center of the bloody magic circle. There is not a single hair on the fox's body, and its skin is a strange dark red, covered with tiny cracks, as if it is a tightly closed mouth, and the fox tail behind it has returned to its normal size. Its pure white eyeballs swept towards the tiger man, grinning and showing its fangs. My good believers. The people led by the tiger leader felt a chill in their hearts and retreated, wanting to escape. Ha ha ha, devout believers, become my nourishment. The next moment, the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox sucked towards this side fiercely, and several people instantly exploded into blood mist, and were sucked over along with the laws. At the same time, the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox was still floating in the air, slowly absorbing the blood on the ground. But at this moment, the blood mist flying in the air and the blood on the ground suddenly spun in another direction, and a voice came from the air. I didn't expect that you have fallen to this point. Chapter 542, Escape back to the kingdom of God. Who? The bloodthirsty and treacherous fox suddenly grew a little bigger, and looked at the direction of the blood flow with vigilance. But he saw an old man with a white beard riding on a white horse, holding a staff, and his eyes full of justice were looking at him. There was also a dying giant wolf next to him. I'm Gandalf the White. Lin Ke's voice was melodious and full of justice. Bloodthirsty and treacherous fox, you colluded with other planes, and wanted to cause harm to Nassang, violating the Nassang joint agreement. I came to take your life under the order of the Sleepless Emperor. It's convenient to have a powerful father-in-law, and the father-in-law has a harmonious relationship with him, so it's so cool to borrow his name casually. What? The Sleepless Emperor knows? The bloodthirsty and treacherous fox's expression changed, and Lin Ke stopped talking nonsense with it. Go to hell. Lin Ke raised the wand of annihilation, but did not use Talzic's fatal blow, but used the skill with the help of the staff. The staff of annihilation itself is a good staff, but it's not that powerful. Ha ha ha, a mere level 14 professional? The bloodthirsty and treacherous fox laughed up to the sky, but the doubts in his heart were aggravated. If the Sleepless Emperor knew what happened to him, why didn't he come to kill him himself, but only sent a Gandalf to come? Level 14. Do you think he is stupid? And Gandalf's white horse actually has such a powerful blood control ability, even stronger than him. Level 14. I will kill you anyway. Lin Ke snorted coldly, riding the blood red magic bull forward, and a beam of light radiated from the staff to bombard it. This is just an ordinary skill, not a skill that Lin Ke has portrayed, but it is also very powerful. What Lin Ke has to do at this time is very simple, that is, to see if the one here is a real body. Logically speaking, this fox should be very cunning, and will not easily reveal its real body. It even has many ways to escape. You have to know that this is an intelligent life, not a monster. Intelligent life often has many more means than monsters, and it is particularly difficult to kill it. Therefore, Lin Ke had to confirm it before he could kill with one strike. Kill me. The bloodthirsty and treacherous fox grinned and laughed. Cracks on its body opened one after another, revealing circles of sharp teeth, and laughed strangely. At this time, the tail of the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox expanded in an instant, turning into a giant tail several dozen meters long, smashing towards Lin Ke, who was not far away. The sharp teeth and sharp mouths on the dark tail all opened, and when they smashed down, they suddenly sucked towards Lin Ke. Lin Ke instantly felt the blood in his body stirring. Skill bloodthirsty. However, the blood red magic bull he sat on moved softly, and this skill was directly offset. Lin Ke was slightly surprised by this, and glanced at the blood red magic bull, and the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox over there was also shocked. That horse is only a level 5 magic beast, and it can have blood control ability comparable to his? Exclamation mark. What a powerful talent. However, at this moment, Lin Ke's attack hit him. Boom. It was obviously an attack from the light element, but it seemed to have other laws attached to it. He felt a special pain, coming from the punishment of Nassang's law, and also from this special law. These lights seemed to be burning his divine body. What a powerful law power. The bloodthirsty and treacherous fox sneered in his heart, but his face was still that crazy and careless expression. Once something is wrong, he will immediately slip away. However, on the surface, he will not show a timid expression because he is cautious in his heart. That will only make others design deeper traps to target him. Boom. At this time, the fox's tail was blocked. It seems that this is your real body. Gandalf came from below with an old voice, accompanied by a smile. Then I'm sorry. One tail didn't kill him. Exclamation mark. The bloodthirsty and treacherous fox was shocked. Only level 14. One tail should have killed him. The bloodthirsty and treacherous fox almost instantly realized that something was wrong, and his body immediately turned into a dark stream of light and wanted to rise to the sky. In the sky, a dim star glowed slightly. He wants to return to his kingdom of God. Lin Ke's eyes flashed, ready to destroy his kingdom of God as well. No matter how many planes other places where gods graze, there will only be one kingdom of God. The body of the god and the kingdom of God are the two most important things of the god, equivalent to the heart and brain of a person. The gods of Nasan are generally very cunning, not to mention the kingdom of God, which is generally impossible to break through the same level, unless there is an existence like the sleepless emperor. As for the body, few gods will use the body to go out. Of course, there are few gods in the secondary planes who are so stupid, unless they are extremely confident, extremely conceited or extremely stupid. A god can survive by relying on faith, even if the kingdom of God is destroyed. It's just that there is no more petitioner collector, that is to say, the souls of believers after death no longer have the kingdom of God to go to, and the gods will lose the good thing of petitioners that can continuously produce the power of faith. If the main body is destroyed, the only way to slowly awaken the body is to rely on the petitioners of the kingdom of God. This process may take tens of millions of years. In any case, among all the information Lin Ke knows, there is no god who relies on the petitioners of the kingdom of God to awaken the sleeping will of the god after the main body of the god is destroyed. Generally, if the main body is gone, the kingdom of God will be quickly conquered. On the contrary, there are many gods who are still alive after the kingdom of God is destroyed, but they are very weak. However, as long as the kingdom of God and the main body of the god are destroyed together, the god will die. Lin Ke looked at the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox flying straight up, and his consciousness immediately triggered the power of Talzik in the Wand of Annihilation. However, at this moment, he saw the crystal wall of the plane shook slightly, and the originally glowing kingdom of the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox was suddenly ejected from the crystal wall system. Ejected. Not to mention Lin Ke, even the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox was stunned. The kingdom of God was ejected. This has never happened before. In the history of Nasan, this has never happened. Lin Ke thought a lot in an instant, including everything he had discovered before, and after meeting the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox, and suddenly had a lot of guesses in his heart. But at this moment, what he had to do was to kill or imprison him first. Then he could slowly interrogate him, ask the sleepless emperor, and ask Andrew. Then, destroy your kingdom of God. Lin Ke's body floated up, looking at the obvious kingdom of God that had been ejected in the sky, and pointed the annihilation rod at it from a distance. In an instant, the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox was horrified. Chapter 543 The Old Man on the Bicycle. The Power of the Master. The bloodthirsty and treacherous fox instantly judged that this terrifying power definitely came from the Master, the kingdom of God. The bloodthirsty and treacherous fox instantly understood the thoughts of a human behind him. It turned out that he had that kind of master level skill as a trump card. He said, how could an ordinary law enforcer of the 14th level dare to fight him? He did not think that Lin Ke had just met him by chance, nor did he think that Lin Ke originally just wanted to kill him and then abduct the fox people. How could such a thing happen by chance? He had a guilty conscience, and now he was exposed by Lin Ke's casual words. He could only run away quickly. Without the kingdom of God, he could at least live in the form of a false god. Run. The bloodthirsty and treacherous fox was suspicious by nature, and at this time he was even more frightened. So he immediately ignored the kingdom of God that was left behind, and rushed towards the distance in a panic. Escape from that Gandalf. Lin Ke snorted coldly, and the supreme seabed pressure strengthened into a powerful ocean law and rushed up. The bloodthirsty kingdom on the crystal wall system had just broken away, and many gods and legends had just noticed this, and then they discovered. But The light column of the ocean law, which was generated by the seabed pressure, directly bombarded the kingdom of God, and in just a moment it broke through the defense that the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox had set up for thousands of years. Then the entire kingdom of God was annihilated inch by inch, in that irresistible pressure. In just a moment, all the petitioners in it were shattered and merged into the crystal wall together with the kingdom of God. A kingdom of God was annihilated in an instant. From the perspective of ordinary people and ordinary professionals, it was just a star in the sky that lit up for a moment, and in fact, not many people looked up at the sky all day long. As for the eyes of a few strong people, this was a big deal. Destroy the kingdom of God. This is a way to make a deadly feud. Many strong people couldn't tell which god's kingdom this was, but in short, it was certain that the kingdom of a certain god had been destroyed. Generally speaking, in the War of Nassau, at most the main body was destroyed, and it was estimated that it would be impossible to destroy the kingdom of God without being 3 or 4 levels higher. The kingdom of God is destroyed, and the gods can be resurrected again after a long period of prayer by the praying people. Nassau is in a stable state. Once they join a big force, few people will kill them all to prevent other forces from retaliating. The kingdom of God is destroyed, and it is initially judged that it is the gods of the Holy Life Alliance. Many strong men can think of 2 forces in an instant. One is the Black and White Kingdom, and the other is the Everfrizz Council. Only these 2 superpowers can kill the gods of the Holy Life Alliance without any scruples. And they also have the strength to protect the killer. Countless strong men have their own plans in an instant, but Lin Ke didn't have time to think so much at this time. There is only one power left in the wand of annihilation. But the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox is not dead yet, but ran away. Be good, go back and wait for me to call. Lin Ke patted the blood-red magic ball, then took back the blood-red magic ball that had eaten enough, and took out his physical bicycle. Run. Lin Ke looked into the distance, and the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox was almost out of sight. So he immediately input the magic power into the physical under him, and then pedaled hard. Boom. He rode on physics, and instantly turned into a rainbow light, chasing after the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox. Thermodynamics, electromagnetism, classical mechanics, optics, various element and laws on physics jumped, instantly soaring Lin Ke's speed to the extreme. Lin Ke immediately threw a few skills to himself. Skill, monster sharpness. Skill, follow the shadow. Skill, eagle eye. With a series of skills, Lin Ke immediately adapted to the super fast speed of physics, and locked onto the figure that was galloping. The bloodthirsty and treacherous fox thought that Gandalf could not catch up, but he sensed something strange behind him. He turned around, and was immediately scared to death. I saw a white-bearded old man riding a bicycle with 2 training wheels in the air, and turned into a rainbow light. It was that Gandalf. The bloodthirsty and treacherous fox originally suspected that Gandalf still had a trump card that he hadn't used. Seeing this, he immediately understood that Gandalf must kill him. Damn it. The bloodthirsty and treacherous fox tried to stabilize the godhead that was trembling because of the destruction of the kingdom of God. The divine power quickly started to work and rushed towards the distance. So, such a scene appeared on the land of the Holy Life Alliance. A fox that looked extremely strange and vicious was flying in front, spitting blood while flying. No, it was spitting out element and the light of law. And dozens of miles behind the fox, a white-haired old man with a white beard was riding the latest mount bicycle in the great wilderness city and chasing. The bicycle also added 2 training wheels, and element were flowing on it. The monsters fighting and killing, the intelligent life that was working hard to give birth, and the bull-headed man who was peeping at the female minotaur bathing. One by one, the intelligent life discovered these 2 powerful existences, or in other words, one level 14 and one god. A level 14 human was chasing the god of the Holy Life Alliance, and chasing and beating him. It was simply unreasonable. A lot of passionate young people in the tribe were unhappy. How could a mere human chase after a god? How could they chase after a god? How dare they chase after a god? And that was their god. It was the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox. As a member of the Holy Life Alliance, the passionate young men rushed up to the sky, wanting to help the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox. However, the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox had already been paranoid at this time and thought that those people were here to intercept him and that they all knew about his collusion with the plane. So he directly turned those passionate young men into hot blood and ate them up to restore his physical strength. Lin Ke also discovered this during the chase, so he immediately took out a large speaker from the space ring, which was solidified with sound magic such as amplification. Friends of the Holy Life Alliance, the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox has betrayed Nathange. I'm here to strangle him on the orders of the Sleepless Emperor. Please help me stop him. Friends of the Holy Life Alliance, the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox has betrayed Nathange. I'm here to strangle him on the orders of the Sleepless Emperor. Please help me stop him. Friends of the Holy Life Alliance. So, this chase became even more bizarre. The bloodthirsty and treacherous fox in front changed its appearance, becoming weird and scary. The old man riding the bicycle with training wheels in the back was not normal to begin with, and now he even hung a loudspeaker. He looked like a hawker hawking his wares. And this farce-like chase took a turn for the better after two legendary auras appeared. Oh, damn. What is this? Haha, Axfang, why are you flying so fast? Let me see. Shit. Chapter 544, Imprisonment. Fallen God. Two Minotaur figures appeared in front. They were the two Minotaur chieftains, plus a female black-haired rabbit. The three of them had a strong aura, and blocked the way of the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox. Because they were all legends, they all felt the evil aura. No, it was not evil, but opposition. The law that was opposite to the law they had comprehended. The other passionate young men could not feel it, but the three of them could feel it very clearly. In addition, friends of the Holy Life Alliance, the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox has betrayed Natsum. I'm here to strangle him on the order of the Sleepless Emperor. Please help me stop him. The loudspeaker was shouting dozens of miles away, so the three of them immediately stopped the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox. Damn it, Axfang. Get out of my way. The bloodthirsty and treacherous fox still had a string of crystal law power at the corner of his mouth, which he had just vomited. The godhead in his body was still trembling slightly, and his soul was in great pain, but he could only run away, and had no energy to control and appease the godhead. The speed was thus reduced again and again. Otherwise, even if Gandalf was faster, the difference in level would not be so easy to make up. The bloodthirsty and treacherous fox and Gandalf chased each other for 2 days and 2 nights, and they had traveled thousands of miles. However, at this time, the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox was almost at its limit. All of his treasures were either in the kingdom of God, or consumed in this plane exploration, and all his clones died. He was already at the end of his strength. On the other side, the two Tauran chiefs and the rabbit chief all limited strong fluctuations, blocking the way of the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox. Betray Natsum? Following the orders of the Sleepless Emperor. Seeing that the white-haired and white-bearded old man made such a big noise without any fear, he must have something to rely on. This reliance might be the Sleepless Emperor. Therefore, the three Tauran chiefs were instantly ready to fight and stop the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox. And you have to know that their tribe is a few hundred miles ahead of here. They all knew the nature of this bloodthirsty and treacherous fox. In the Middle Ages, it did not regard life as life. It sucked tons of blood from manservants every day. At this critical moment, it is very likely that their tribe members will be sucked to death by this bloodthirsty and treacherous fox's atomic. Damn it. Get out of my way. The bloodthirsty and treacherous fox's eyes were bloodshot, and the mouths on its body opened and cracked, making a sharp roar. The axe-toothed Tauran chieftain had a serious face, raised the axe in his hand high, and then smashed it heavily at the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox rushing over. Another Tauran chieftain also took out a sledgehammer, and swung it over there. As for the female rabbit man who was as black as ink, her figure flashed and disappeared in the air. But the three legendary combat forces stabilized the situation in an instant, blocking the escape path of the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox, and the black rabbit man even imprisoned the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox directly. Imprison. This is a rare skill, and it can also imprison skills of the same level. So Lin Ke looked at her twice more, but he felt that she looked familiar. Nyx. Oh my god. This black rabbit man looks like Nyx. Are they related by blood? Lin Ke secretly noted this point and waited for time to bring Nyx over to see. However, Nyx and Black Mountain are probably still far to the east, and he has chased so far now, and has sucked hundreds of magic crystals dry, and he has encountered Axfang. It has reached the northeast of the Holy Life Alliance. Sir, I'm Chief Axfang, who are you? The Tauran chief flew over, followed by another Tauran chief and the Black Rabbit man holding the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox. I'm Gandalf the White Robe. Lin Ke put away his bicycle, stood in the air, and then blinked at the Tauran chief over there. Gandalf Barker. Gandalf. Barker? Chief Axfang was stunned when he saw Lin Ke blinking. Barker? He was so familiar with this pronunciation. Plus that blink. Suddenly, the Tauran chief knew that the person in front of him was not the unknown old man in white robes, Gandalf, but the Duke of Lava, Lin Ke. Especially when he saw the air blade that held up Lin Ke's body under his feet, the Tauran chief was even more convinced. Sir Gandalf in white robes, may I ask what happened to the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox? Chief Axfang asked. At this time, behind Lin Ke, many professionals who were watching the excitement also came. These are all above level 15, otherwise they would not be able to catch up. You must know that Lin Ke was able to catch up with the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox with all his strength, plus the blessing of the physical bicycle. These strong men above level 15 were already very powerful to be able to arrive at this time. Lin Ke snorted lightly and paused in the air with his long staff. What did he do, you ask yourself? Lin Ke was actually not very sure. In his guess, the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox became so strange, like a Cthulhu, probably related to other planes. In addition, the crystal wall system in the sky also popped up his kingdom of God, because of the call of the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox. This kind of being spurned by his own plane must be because of changing his allegiance. The bloodthirsty and treacherous fox has fallen. Lin Ke didn't know if this had happened in Nassen before, but he estimated that betrayal was a serious matter, no matter where it was. He felt that the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox would not survive. Tronley, tell me. The Black Rabbit man gently shook the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox in his hand that had been compressed into a square. The bloodthirsty and treacherous fox, the god name is Tronley. Tronley opened his mouth slightly and exhaled, looking at Lin Ke coldly, as if he wanted to remember Lin Ke's appearance. Then he looked around again, as if he was looking at the three legends, and as if he was looking at other intelligent beings watching. But it was more like looking at this world in the Nassen plane. There was still a trace of nostalgia in his eyes. Gandalf the White. Humans. Minotaur. Rabbitman. Holy Life Alliance. Nassen. Tronley spoke slowly, then showed a very bloodthirsty and violent smile, and the next moment he laughed. Ha ha ha. Do you think you can kill me? You don't know what kind of power that is. You don't know what kind of truth that is. You don't know what greatness is. Now, I will call my lord to descend on Nassen. Without my Nassing, it is better to destroy it. After saying this, before everyone could make a move, the sharp teeth and round mouths on the body of the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox all opened. A strange wave spread out from the center of his godhead. On the top of his head, a sharp tooth and round mouth suddenly appeared on the bearskin, and a spinning godhead appeared from it. However, on the godhead, there was no mysterious feeling of the Nassen law, but instead four sticky tentacles stretched out. Chapter 545, Domination Battle. Tentacles. Weird. Lin Ke was about to call out the name. Isn't this pure Cthulhu? Exclamation mark. This law is as powerful as Nassen. The Black Rabbit man exclaimed, and the cube Tronley in his hand flew out of his hand. But her hand withered all of a sudden, just like a rose that had been placed for dozens of days. She acted decisively, and with the surge of magic power, she directly cut off her right arm, and then urged the element to grow a new arm again. Her broken arm was like a fallen leaf, spinning in the air and falling down, while spinning and turning into black powder and drifting. However, everyone's eyes were not on her, but on Tronley, who had recovered his body. But Tronley's aura was completely gone. Instead, there was that weird godhead and the disgusting phantom on the godhead. The phantom of the four tentacles danced slowly in the air, emitting an extremely weird fluctuation. This fluctuation is similar to the law of fluctuation of the secondary plane, but it is more powerful. In other words, this is probably a fluctuation of the laws of main plane. Other main planes. In addition to the octopus tentacle that Lin Ke had eaten before, which was the dominant tentacle cut off by the sleepless emperor, the laws of the two are very similar, so it can be basically confirmed. The bloodthirsty and treacherous fox Tron-Li colluded with the hostile main plane of Nassim. If a legend or god abandons the laws from Nassing after learning the laws of other planes, it is equivalent to betrayal. Moreover, Nassing's laws are special and inclusive. Basically, the laws of the secondary planes that have been explored can be compatible with Nassing's laws. In other words, Nassing has what the secondary plane has, and Nassing also has what the secondary plane does not have. However, the breath exuded from the godhood of Tron-Li, the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox in front of him, is incompatible with Nassing. And a moment after the 4 tentacles appeared, they sank again, and reincarnated in Tron-Li's head, and the fanged round mouth on his head also closed. Suddenly, Tron-Li opened his eyes. His eyeballs were originally pure white, but now, there was a tiny black dot on his eyeballs, as if it was his pupil. At the same time, Tron-Li exuded a feeling that was out of tune with the surrounding environment. Lin Ke felt a little irritated when he looked at Tron-Li. A characteristic that affects the mind? Exclamation mark. Lin Ke immediately looked inward and saw that his soul defense artifact had already appeared and was resisting some hidden fluctuations. Haha, when I return next time, I will definitely let you all return to the arms of my lord. Tron-Li's fangs and round mouths all opened, and the sound emanated from each mouth, which was extremely weird. At the same time, his tail exploded directly, but there was no blood splattering effect. Instead, it split from one tail into 8 tails, and each tail opened a fanged round mouth, waving in the air, just like the tentacles just now. Lin Ke sensed the sparkling light emitted by the soul defense artifact in his mind, and immediately urged the magic power in his body to use skills to resist this soul influence. Skill. A remitting white light formed above Lin Ke's head, blowing away the subtle but pervasive fluctuations. The others woke up one after another. In that state just now, people with weak souls had an impulsive irritability, bloodthirstiness, and rage. Moreover, this was an attack method that did not look like an attack method. If there was no artifact of soul defense, it might not be felt. But as soon as Lin Ke's skill was used, everyone immediately sensed this feeling of being affected. Even the 3 legends were not spared. That Tron-Li laughed wantonly, and at the same time, a crack as high as a person appeared behind him, with faint colorful colors inside. It was the astral crack. Behind this crack was the astral realm. In the astral crack, several tentacles stretched out from there, with sharp teeth and round mouths on the tentacles. After wrapping around Tron-Li, those mouths bit him one after another. Hahaha, Gandalf of the Black and White Kingdom, I remember you, I remember. Tron-Li laughed loudly, but at this time, the surrounding time and space suddenly became fixed. The 3 legends kept picking up their weapons, and the other intelligent beings were all frozen. Only Lin Ke didn't. This kind of time and space fluctuations. Lin Ke narrowed his eyes. This is clearly Andrew's work. To freeze time and space, even legends. Only Andrew can do this kind of power. Wumian probably can't. Wumian can blow people up, but he can't freeze them. At this time, those tentacles were struggling to take Tron-Li back, and they emitted strange fluctuations. However, Andrew's time and space laws were as solid as before, without the slightest shake. Wow. Just when Lin Ke was about to use the wand of annihilation to help his teacher, a large void crack suddenly opened not far away, and a tall figure walked out of it. Seeing this person, Lin Ke was relieved. Emperor Wumian. Gandalf, you did a great job. The sleepless emperor walked out of the crack, and said with a smile, I just saw it all. Yes, you did a great job. By the way, when did I send you here? I can't remember. The sleepless emperor looked at Lin Ke with a smile on his face, with a confident and majestic temperament. Lin Ke. It seems that his father-in-law didn't recognize him at all. Lin Ke was a little helpless, but he didn't change back, but secretly took out the lava staff and waved it. It would be too humiliating to change back, so he should remind his father-in-law. Feeling the breath of the lava staff, the sleepless emperor's expression remained unchanged. Haha, little Lin Ke, I knew it was you. What are you doing here? Looking at the expression of the sleepless emperor, Lin Ke maintained the appearance of Gandalf and briefly told the purpose of this trip to the sleepless emperor. Others cannot keep the memory of the time and space where Andrew lives. Everyone has no memory of the war when Lin Ke was a child, except Lin Ke. This is the power of Andrew, and it is one of Andrew's strengths. Andrew even felt that he didn't need to show up in person. Wumian would be enough. I see. Emperor Wumian looked at the tentacles and chuckled. With the two planes getting closer, those damn guys can't sit still. Emperor Wumian looked at the tentacles and smiled at Lin Ke. Let's go. I'll take you to see a good show. Good show. Lin Ke was immediately refreshed. Fight? To be safe, Lin Ke hesitated for a moment. Will it be dangerous? After all, you are all powerful. What's there to be afraid of? Emperor Wumian laughed. Don't be like that old man Andrew at such a young age. Ouch. Don't hit my head. Lin Ke is here. Chapter 546. King Sleepless. Lin Ke. Lin Ke discovered that in front of others, Emperor Wumian was a mighty and powerful man, a magic needle that suppressed everything. But in front of people close to him, Emperor Wumian was simply a living treasure. What was going on with this strange feeling of wanting to tease and complain? Okay, stop dawdling. Let's go. Emperor Wumian rubbed his head, then pulled Lin Ke with his big hand. He first came to the side of the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox Tronli and said, I order you to wait for me here. As he spoke, an invisible wave descended on Tronli, separating Tronli's divine body and tentacles. So those tentacles that were still struggling seemed to be electrocuted and all shrank back. Hey. Emperor Wumian chuckled and pulled Lin Ke into the Star Realm. That is, the Star Realm crack opened by the tentacle. After entering, the surroundings were full of colorful colors, but Emperor Wumian put his hand down and said, you just stand in the distance. By the way, the turbulence of the Star Realm can temper the body. After saying that, Emperor Wumian directly drew out two swords, one black and one white, holding one in his left hand and one in his right hand. In the distance, there was a black and strange looking existence. Before he had time to look at the master, Lin Ke felt the soul defense artifact in his mind frantically warning. I saw a pink feather floating out, turning into thousands of small feathers, surrounding Lin Ke's soul space, offsetting some kind of influence. Lin Ke immediately thought of the rumors about K'Thul in his previous life. Can't look directly. Can't describe. Can't imagine. Can't hear. So Lin Ke immediately retracted his gaze and focused on Wumian. As for the outside of his body, he propped up a thermodynamic shield to block the turbulence of the astral world. Of course, he would let some in from time to time to wash his body, but not too much, otherwise his body would not be able to bear it. At this time, the invisible confrontation between the Sleepless Emperor and the enemy master had already begun. From the peripheral vision, one can see that dark and twisted shadows shot out from the enemy master and enveloped the Sleepless Emperor. The Sleepless Emperor had a calm face and said, I order that no distortion of the law is allowed here. King's skill, law. As soon as the voice fell, the Sleepless Emperor did not move, and the shadow that enveloped him was like white snow under the sun, melting quickly. I order the black and white swords to kill the enemy. The next moment, as soon as the Sleepless Emperor finished speaking, the invisible power of the law immediately enveloped the two swords on his waist, one black and one white. The two swords were immediately enveloped by the power of King, and then they took off on their own and rushed towards the indescribable master over there. Oh my god, sword control? Lin Ke thought that the Emperor Wumian would take two swords and chop them, but he didn't expect it to be a mouth-to-mouth trick. Move his mouth and let the two swords fight each other? I order, all your power is rejected from this place. I order, your life form returns to 100,000 years ago. I order, you fucking die quickly. The Emperor Wumian just stood there, standing quietly, and then kept moving his mouth. Over there, the two swords were like two drills, emitting two kinds of power, black and white, devouring everything around them, while spraying countless energies. There was no other power around, except black and white. The two swords rushed over, but were blocked by that weird shadow. Lin Ke couldn't see what the shadow was, but he could feel that the master over there must have the tentacles of an octopus, and the tentacles were not suction cups or eyes, but mouths. Those mouths sprayed out a light grey mist, but it actually resisted the impact of the two swords. However, he also retreated step by step under this impact. It was obvious that there was a huge power gap. It was just that the sleepless emperor seemed to be in high spirits, so he did not take down the overlord immediately. Was he playing cat and mouse? No. The sleepless emperor was not such a superficial person. If it was the overlord of the secondary plane or nothing, it would be easy to say. The problem was that this was a hostile force, and what was important was a steady, accurate, and ruthless attack, and it was best to kill with one strike. It could consume the enemy's power to the maximum extent. Lin Ke guessed that maybe the sleepless emperor wanted to play a long game to catch a big fish. That must be the case. The sleepless emperor had a good appetite. Lin Ke couldn't help but feel a little dignified in his heart. He looked around carefully and then took out the wand of annihilation, but his appearance was still that of Gandalf in the white robe. What if the overlord hiding in the dark noticed him, a small shrimp? He had to use the wand of annihilation to ensure his survival, and even that was not very guaranteed. He could only hope that the sleepless emperor could hold it. However, Lin Ke felt relieved when he remembered that the ruler of another main plane, Eternal Twilight, on the same planet, was also defeated by Woomian. A powerful existence as powerful as Eternal Twilight at level 30 could be destroyed, so the strength of Emperor Woomian could definitely guarantee his life. So Lin Ke felt a little relieved, and then continued to watch Woomian, watching the battle situation with his peripheral vision. At this moment, Emperor Woomian stopped talking nonsense and smiled. Such a weak ruler is far worse than the last one. I'm so playful, it's really boring. Lin Ke, so playful. It's really not a long-term plan to catch a big fish, but a playful plan. Then, I sentence you to death. Emperor Woomian's eyes became indifferent, and he raised his right hand and pointed at the pile of indescribable things in the distance. King's skill, solemn judgment. Lin Ke couldn't sense anything either. He could only feel an inexplicable wave squeezing from all sides of the ruler, and instantly reached the core of the ruler. The master let out a crazy and desperate roar, but it was useless under the law of Emperor Woomian. It just turned into a slowly wriggling black and grey object in an instant. The master was killed. Lin Ke was a little excited, but also a little confused. Why did Emperor Woomian call him here? You know, the battle between the two masters just now has already involved the level of fundamental laws and rules. And now Lin Ke has not even involved the fundamental laws, let alone the rules. It's just like the excitement in the examination room. It's just amazing. How about it? This excitement is interesting, right? Emperor Woomian flew over excitedly, feeling particularly happy. Haha, it's really interesting. This is just amazing. Lin Ke didn't know what to say, but he saw it. I don't know why. Emperor Woomian seems to be in a particularly good mood today. This is why Emperor Woomian is so lively. Well, this excitement is indeed interesting. Lin Ke replied to Woomian with a smile. What? How do you know I've reached level 30? Oh, I'm so ashamed of myself. Dear son-in-law, you're also very good. Haha, haha, haha. Emperor Woomian laughed. Lin Ke took a deep breath. First, he didn't know his father-in-law had made a breakthrough. Second, no wonder his father-in-law is so happy. Third, Emperor Woomian, level 30? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 547. Pack up this race and take it away. Congratulations, uncle. Lin Ke pounded his chest and said, congratulations, your majesty. The first sentence was, because he was the son-in-law of Emperor Woomian, and the second sentence was, because he was the Lava Duke of the Black and White Kingdom. Emperor Woomian, who looked very happy, laughed out loud. What is there to congratulate? Isn't it just level 30? Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Lin Ke also smiled helplessly. That's level 30, uncle. There are not many people who can reach this level from ancient times to the present. Really? Haha. Emperor Woomian was very happy and then patted Lin Ke on the shoulder. Young man, you are not bad. Are you about to break through the law body recently? Haha, oops. You don't have enough equipment on you. Come on, I'll give you a few. Use them well. As he said that, Emperor Wumian took out a set of golden noble full body armor, which was a set of artifacts, and there was also the aura of Wumian on it, which looked like he personally nurtured it. Lin Ke was stunned. Why did he start giving him things for no reason? Just because he said a few nice words? So Lin Ke accepted the armor first, and then tried to ask, "Uncle, I see you look particularly handsome and majestic today. Maybe it's not just because you broke through level 30? After all, for someone as wise and powerful as you, breaking through level 30 is as easy as sneezing." Wumian's eyes burst into amazing brilliance when he heard it, and he was extremely pleased and laughed. Hahaha, am I that majestic? Well, it seems a bit. By the way, my dear son-in-law looks good recently. Come, I have recently explored a few new planes, and I will give you a few master level godheads to play with. As he said that, Wumian casually threw out two shiny godheads, one black and one purple. Lin Ke hurriedly took them, his hands were shaking. Master level godhead? Exclamation mark. Lin Ke couldn't help swallowing his saliva, and put the godhood into the space ring at lightning speed, and said, "It's worthy of you, uncle. The master level godhood can be given casually like weeds on the roadside, but considering your status, this is normal. Such a gift is classy. It's worthy of Arnasang's Dinghe Shinsun, the pillar of the sky, the sword of dawn. How long are you going to praise him?" However, just when the Emperor Wumian was about to be extremely happy, a woman's voice sounded. The two turned around and saw that the five-colored dragon mother had just torn open the crack in the star elm and was looking at them kindly. "Uncle, wife." The two shouted almost at the same time, and they all felt guilty. The five-colored dragon mother said unhappily, "Hurry up and take that thing back." As she said that, she pointed to the massive matter left by the master in the distance after his death. After that, she cut a crack and went back. Lin Ke and the Emperor Wumian were left silent. After looking at each other, both of them found embarrassment in each other's eyes. Lin Ke was the first to speak. "Uncle, how about I return the gift just now? Retreat to advance." Wumian waved his hand. "What are you returning? Take it and use it well. If it's not enough, well, let's go back. Is there anything else you need help with?" Wumian took back the material and asked Lin Ke. He was referring to Lin Ke's sneaking into the Holy Life Alliance. He sneaked into the Holy Life Alliance and found that the fox people were performing bloody sacrifices. Then he transformed into Gandalf and attacked the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox, which led to the following things. But Wumian didn't know, while Lin Ke sneaked into the Holy Life Alliance. Mineral veins. Lin Ke answered, while resisting the turbulence of the Star Elm. He felt that resisting the turbulence of the Star Elm this time was much easier than the time when the Dark Girl brought him out before. The Holy Life Alliance has countless mineral veins, but most intelligent races in those tribes don't know how to mine them. They just leave them there to make swords. This is a waste. Lin Ke said slowly, causing the corners of Wumian's eyes to twitch. "I heard that Boljak is a capitalist, right?" Emperor Wumian glanced at Lin Ke. "This is the rational use of resources." Lin Ke looked at Wumian without fear. "We have foreign enemies now. When foreign enemies are spying, we must use all available resources and all available forces to resist and destroy the enemy. And at this juncture, it is obvious to use one resource in exchange for 2 spears, or to use one resource in exchange for 10,000 more powerful weapons." Lin Ke did not flinch. It's like in the previous life, if uranium was discovered, would it be more efficient to use it to make swords and kill people, or to make it into atomic bombs and kill people? There is no doubt. And now, Lin Ke needs those veins. Whether it is used for research in universities, analyzing various substances, or for making more advanced and more powerful weapons, or for production and manufacturing, it is all possible. To make swords, whether it is iron, steel or stone, there are only 2 points to use, hardness and sharpness, and different materials will also cause different effects. However, whether it is iron or steel, whether it is gold or fesses, there are other uses. The properties of gold, iron and steel all have other uses, and the same is true for fesses. Just like in the previous life, everyone can go to farm, and different people have different farming efficiencies, and everyone will pursue the person who is the best at farming. But Lin Ke believes, or most knowledgeable people believe, that everyone has their own characteristics, and every substance, and every element has its own characteristics. Not everyone can only farm, that is, not every mine is used to make swords. Those veins should have more uses. After listening to Lin Ke's words, Wu Mian also understood this truth, but he still smiled and said, "Are you sure that these mineral veins will have a better effect in your hands?" "Sure." Lin Ke nodded. Grandmaster says periodic table has not been filled yet. Teacher offs electromagnetic experiments and superconductivity research have also reached a bottleneck, and Euclid's material ductility and density experiments also need. Stop. Emperor Wu Mian rubbed his forehead and said helplessly, "Okay, then I will cooperate with you and ask for more mineral veins." "Thank you, uncle." Lin Ke was delighted. It was one thing for him to ask Wu Mian, and it was another thing for Wu Mian to take the initiative. After all, he is the father-in-law, not the biological father, so he can't make random requests. It's said that even the biological father can't make random requests. "Any other needs?" Wu Mian asked politely, and then saw the gleam in Lin Ke's eyes, and immediately regretted asking this question. "That's right. I dare not say what the demand is, it's just a suggestion." Lin Ke laughed. "Uncle, don't you think there are too few alien races in the Black and White Kingdom? The world needs diversity. How about bringing a few races to the kingdom?" Chapter 548 Become an Inspector. Okay, Lin Ke, what you said does make sense. Emperor Wu Mian smiled and waved his hand. "What we can do in this generation is to help you as much as possible. Grow up quickly." As he spoke, Emperor Wu Mian looked into the distance, his body majestic and deep, like a peak, and like an abyss, with both aurora and deep darkness. Inexplicably, Lin Ke also felt the pressure doubled, so he took a deep breath and said, "Okay, I will try my best." Emperor Wu Mian nodded slightly. "Well, very good. What are you still talking about?" At this time, another crack opened inexplicably next to him, and the voice of the five-colored dragon mother came from it. Emperor Wu Mian's head shrank, and the deep, majestic, broad, and tyrannical momentum instantly dissipated, and then he stopped talking, and quickly opened a space crack, and pulled Lin Ke into it. One step later is Nassim. Wu Mian took Lin Ke back to the original place, and the time and space just now were still fixed as before, until they came back and dissipated. Ha ha ha. Tronli, will one day. Tronli was still making threats, seamlessly connecting to the running away, after making threats stage before Lin Ke and the others left. It stands to reason that one can run away after making threats, as is the case in movies, TV series, and animations, but unfortunately Tronli failed to escape. He did not sense the changes in time and space at all, and the same was true for the other three legends. Stop him. Damn fox. Imprison. The three legends took action one after another, and most of the other onlookers also took action, and a few were ready to offset the previous strange soul influence. But in an instant, everyone stopped and looked at the man standing next to Gandalf. He was a middle-aged man with a tall and majestic figure and unparalleled domineering. When he stood there, he looked like a towering mountain, and also like an abyss with no bottom to see. People looked up with admiration, but also dared not look down. Wu Mian. Emperor Wu Mian. The pillar of the human race. Everyone's expression brightened, and they immediately looked at Gandalf, and then looked at Wu Mian, and immediately understood. Gandalf came here on orders, and now that the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox was about to escape, it was normal for Emperor Wu Mian to appear and intercept him. Even the tentacles, that were originally going to pull the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox away were scared and ran away. Wu Mian's power was so terrifying. Emperor Wu Mian. Emperor Wu Mian. Emperor. The people around him hammered their chests to show their respect for Emperor Wu Mian. Wu Mian looked at the horrified Tronli, the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox. Tronli was originally a god of Nassing, but he colluded with the master of that disgusting plane, and became a fallen god. As he spoke, Wu Mian's eyes became indifferent, and his voice became louder, as if echoing throughout the world in the entire plane. According to the Nassing common agreement, I will wipe out the entire fox race. From now on, the fox race cannot survive in Natham. Wipe out the race directly? Exclamation mark. Lin Ke was shocked and suddenly thought of the ancient fish people and mushroom people. The elimination of those races now seems to have been wiped out by some great power. At this time, the Emperor Wumian, who made such a terrifying statement, stood quietly in the air with his hands behind his back. All the laws surrounded him and seemed to be subservient to him. And he seemed to be waiting for something. Waiting? Lin Ke was thoughtful. Sure enough, at this moment, 2 stars appeared from the sky, and then each emitted a beam of light. The 2 beams of light were ordinary, and after they were emitted, several people appeared from them. Several people looked like old people, 4 men and 3 women, and their auras were all below level 15. They were all old and frail, without any vitality. Moreover, there was only 1 human among the 7 people, and the other 6 were aliens. I represent the Holy Life Alliance, and my name is Lux. I represent the Holy Life Alliance, and my name is Rishiram. I represent the Everfrizz Council, and my name is Romera. 7 people walked out of the beam of light, and came to the front of the Sleepless Emperor, and performed the chest beating ceremony one by one. And Lin Ke also found an old acquaintance. Romera of the Everfrizz Council. When he was a child, Orth almost destroyed Parrot City because of his anger. At that time, the committee formed because of the Nathan joint agreement sent people over. The one sent over at that time was Romera, who was level 14. Romera didn't care about Lin Ke at first, thinking that Lin Ke was just a country noble from a remote area. He even wanted to explore Lin Ke's talent, but fortunately, he was blocked by AOF. Seeing Romera at this time, Lin Ke narrowed his eyes immediately. How powerful was Romera at that time? She didn't even need any skills, just her aura could make him feel oppressed and uncomfortable. And now, Lin Ke was lucky, he could kill her with just 1 punch. He didn't even need a punch, he could kill her with skills, even if he was standing still. As they were both level 14, Lin Ke only now realized how ordinary Romera was. The level 14 seemed to be made of cotton. In his eyes, it was basically the same as words like fragile and dying with 1 punch. Just an ant on the side of the road. The disgust he had for Romera at that time had dissipated a lot at this time. Just like something that you couldn't beat when you were a child, you can step on it to death at will when you grow up, so you don't need to care too much. Respected Lord Wumian, on behalf of the committee, I would like to express my sincerest respects to you. The female banana tree person named Lux stepped forward. Well, tell him the general situation. At this time, Emperor Wumian nodded and pointed to Lin Ke next to him, that is, Gandalf the White Robe. So, everyone focused their attention on Lin Ke next to him. Excuse me, your majesty, he is. Banana tree person Lux looked at Gandalf the White Robe. Gandalf looked calm, and Emperor Wumian said, he is the inspector of the Black and White Kingdom. Inspector. Everyone was shocked. Inspectors are a very important identity in the Black and White Kingdom. You know, the Black and White Kingdom is not completely self-governed by the lords, and it also has its own fundamental laws. The duty of the inspector is to patrol the entire Black and White Kingdom, and have the power to patrol all lords and nobles to check whether they have violated the law. For example, treason is a very serious crime. Of course, the fundamental law is just a meaning. This fundamental law in the Black and White Kingdom is more like a common agreement of the nobles or something like that, which was determined at the beginning of the founding of the country. The final law still comes from the Great Wilderness City. However, at this time, everyone didn't think so much, just thinking that it was no wonder that the old man was so fierce and so fast. It turned out to be the inspector. Yes, I'm the inspector of the Black and White Kingdom Gandalf. Chapter 549 Three-Party Trial. Lin Ke said confidently. This time, this inspector discovered the conspiracy of the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox. He colluded with another main plane and wanted to attract the foreign master to come. Fortunately, I saw through it. Lin Ke briefly described the process, but changed the reason for the discovery from his accidental discovery to the advance command of Emperor Wumian. After hearing this, everyone felt that Emperor Wumian was indeed a great man, and every move was full of wisdom. So, His Majesty Wumian said that he wanted to wipe out the fox people. After Lin Ke finished speaking, he stood quietly on the air pressure shield and floated in the air. The other people also stopped in the air in their own ways and then looked at each other. They all saw solemnity in each other's eyes. A race. Emperor Wu Mian wanted to destroy race. In the past, whenever there was a large-scale killing by professionals, they had to intervene. After all, it was their duty. Like the time with Ov, if Romola hadn't wanted to explore Lin Ke's talent and put pressure on him with his high level, Lin Ke wouldn't have felt anything. However, what Wu Mian wants to do now is to wipe out a race in Nassam. Is the king so powerful? Lin Ke thought secretly in his heart. At the beginning, there was a system task that gave him an emperor profession. I feel that the emperor should be more powerful than the king. But the leader is even more powerful than the emperor. As a result, Lin Ke's current leader profession, the lethal skills above are likely to cause him physical damage. Although it may not be as painful as before, he has other options, so he has not used them much. But on second thought, who is Emperor Wu Mian? It's Emperor Wu Mian. The strongest king in ancient and modern times is Emperor Wu Mian. If you think about it this way, you will know. It's not the king who is strong, but Wu Mian. However, no matter how strong you are, you can't break the rules. Especially these are the rules set by Wu Mian himself. Sir Wu Mian, we already know what happened. Lux glanced at the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox Tronli who was imprisoned by Wu Mian, and said softly, but directly wiping out a race is a huge loss for the Holy Life Alliance and Nassam. Emperor Wu Mian closed his eyes and rested his mind, ignoring Lux's question. With the identity and status of Emperor Wu Mian, his words are the law of heaven. What he says is what he means. How can he tolerate cats and dogs jumping around? If it were other strong men, if they had the power of Emperor Wu Mian, Lux would have evaporated. However, this Nassam joint agreement was founded by Emperor Wu Mian, and it cannot be directly dismantled. So Emperor Wu Mian closed his eyes directly, surrounded by laws, and it seemed that the law of sound had been blocked. Lux sighed upon seeing this, and then looked at Lin Ke. Mr. Inspector, are you sure that the sacrificial ritual of Lord Tronli, the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox, has changed? The sacrificial ritual of Tronli, the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox, is a bloody sacrifice, and all the intelligent beings who know the fox people know this. Lin Ke replied, yes. Mr. Inspector, did Tronli, the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox, collude with that main plane and attract the master? I think everyone presents or it. Then, did you find anything else unusual in the process of chasing Tronli, the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox? No. Do those believers who initiated the bloody sacrifice know that the gods they serve have fallen? I don't know. After a series of inquiries, it was basically confirmed. Gandalf the White had nothing to do with this matter. He came here just to follow orders, and the betrayal of Tronli, the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox, should have been premeditated. If the wise and powerful Emperor Wu Mian had not sent people in advance, it is estimated that this entire area would have been destroyed by the enemy's master. The power of the master can burn mountains and boil seas, split the sky and the earth. If a battle is fought in Nassau, it will cause very strong damage to Nassau, and the impact on the local area is immeasurable. Like the hurricane city of the Hurricane Duke, the hurricane that blows all year round is a natural wonder formed after the death of the master, and it lasts 4 years. Therefore, Lin Ke can be said to have saved the lives of this area invisibly. The power of the master, just think about the Great Wasteland City. The Deep Blue Duke turned the Black and White Kingdom lava territory into the Great Wasteland Plain. Normal legends can't do it. You must know that the area of the lava territory is estimated to be larger than 9.6 million square kilometers in the previous life. Of course, although the current Great Wasteland Plain is called the Great Wasteland Plain, it is actually just a small island equivalent to Nassau. It has not yet become a completely independent plain, and does not have its own complete laws. The fox people, alas. Lux didn't know what to say at this time. The fox people have only one god, the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox. They could also foresee that the fox tribe wanted to summon back the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox because their gods were trapped outside, so they could only try their best to recall them. After all, the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox Tronli could be said to be the fox tribe's reliance. It can be said that the fox tribe is basically composed of shallow believers of the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox tronly, and there are also many devout believers, saints and the like. If the faith is corrupted from the source, it means that all believers will also be corrupted. So what the Sleepless Emperor said about directly wiping out the entire tribe is not particularly excessive. It's difficult. Lux and the other people looked at each other for a few times, and there was helplessness in their eyes. There was no way. It seemed that they had to agree. Let's hold a three-party trial now. Lux shook her head and said, erase the entire fox tribe, and the 3 representatives will express their agreement by raising their hands. Confirmed in 3 minutes. The 3 representatives, the Holy Life Alliance is Lux, the Everfrizz Council is Ramella, and the Black and White Kingdom seems to be Lin Ke, also known as Gandalf the White. After Lux finished speaking, she turned around and discussed with several other people in the Holy Life Alliance. Ramella did the same, whispering to her own people. As for Gandalf the White, he glanced at the Sleepless Emperor who was resting with his eyes closed, and then silently withdrew his gaze. 3 minutes later, the 3 of them looked at each other. Lux nodded slightly, and then said loudly, well, now, the 3-party trial begins. Please agree to erase. Please wait a moment. At this time, Lin Ke spoke. So, the judges of both parties all cast their eyes over, and the onlookers also looked over. Gandalf the White stood up and said, most of the fox people are actually innocent. If they are directly erased, I think the Holy Life Alliance does not want to suffer such a loss. Our Sleepless Emperor is actually heartbroken to make such a decision. Lin Ke looked over and saw that Wumian was not heartbroken at all. Not only was he not heartbroken, but he also looked calm. Uncle, your acting skills are terrible. Lin Ke choked for a moment, then pretended not to see it, and said, so, I have another suggestion. Chapter 550 Finalization. Harvest. Lin Ke spoke, and everyone was speechless. He said so much before, but didn't say anything, but spoke at the most critical moment. Isn't this a joke? However, Lux and others were relieved. It's good to have a proposal. If the entire tribe is not wiped out, there is still hope. You know, even if ordinary tribes are wiped out, it will have an impact on the Holy Life Alliance. The Black and White Kingdom is getting stronger and stronger, and the Holy Life Alliance and the Everfrizz Council are constantly weakening. If this goes on, just change Nasenge's name to Gilla. So, after hearing that Gandalf the White Robe has a new proposal, Lux immediately asked kindly, Sir Gandalf, what do you propose? Eliminating the fox people is easy for our majesty, but your majesty is kind by nature, and can't bear to do this. Lin Ke pondered for a while. Kind by nature. Can't bear it. Everyone just felt that there was a mouthful of 82-year-old phlegm stuck in their throats, and they wanted to spit it out but couldn't. What is kind by nature? How many lives has the Sleepless Emperor killed over the years? Can't bear it? It doesn't exist at all. But no one dared to object. The Emperor Wumian was still standing there. As long as the Emperor Wumian killed all those who thought he was not kind, wouldn't everyone else think he was kind? With this in mind, it was easy for everyone to accept the setting that the Emperor Wumian was a kind person by nature. Lin Ke continued at this time. So, after I communicated with the Emperor Wumian, I decided to capture the entire fox tribe and bring them back to the Black and White Kingdom and let the strongest person in Nasen take care of them personally. This will not only ensure that the entire fox tribe does not need to be wiped out, but also ensure the safety of Nasen and the safety of all life in Nasen. Everyone was immediately excited when they heard this, and then began to whisper to each other. In fact, there are many ways to do this, but there is a prerequisite. The prerequisite is that the Emperor Wumian agrees. The Emperor Wumian said to destroy the entire fox tribe. Who dares to object? Who dares to jump out and say I don't think it's appropriate? Didn't you see that the sun god of the Holy Life Alliance, the Lord of the Radman, and the 5 members of the Everfrizz Council were all silent? No one dared to come. After all, Wumian was here. What if he was in a bad mood and dragged them to a fight, but couldn't win? That's why they were sent here. And now, even if they didn't want to agree to this proposal, they had to agree. It's too obvious. Packing the fox people to the Black and White Kingdom obviously wants the fox people to be slaves there. Otherwise, why not propose to send people to supervise? In this way, the innocent fox people can still live happily on the original land. However, even if they see it, there is nothing they can do. These old and frail intelligent beings know best that this is probably what Emperor Wumian meant. If they were not caught, it would be fine. If they were caught with such a mistake, they could only bite their teeth and swallow it. Lux knew that the sun god didn't say anything at this time, which meant that he acquiesced to his own decision. Anyway, there are tall people to support the sky. Thinking of this, Lux spoke up. This proposal represents the opinion of the Black and White Kingdom, so we will discuss it again for 3 minutes. As soon as the new proposal came out, the demands of the Black and White Kingdom were very clear. Romara of the Everfrizz Council also understood it, so she discussed it with the people of the Everfrizz Council. Lin Ke didn't need to discuss it, so he stood and waited. After a while, at Lux's signal, the three stood in the middle, and then Lux said loudly, "Please raise your hands if you agree with the proposal of the Black and White Kingdom." In an instant, all three raised their right hands. The proposal passed. No matter what the onlookers thought or looked at it, this proposal that determined the survival of a race was passed just like that. At this time, the sleepless emperor suddenly opened his eyes, glanced at the three people with great majesty, and said, "Gandalf represents my will." After that, he casually stepped into the space crack with a stroke of his hand, and his figure disappeared. Everyone's eyes instantly focused on Lin Ke. Lin Ke smiled at Lux, Romara and others. Well, let's discuss the specific supervision matters now. After 3 days, Lin Ke finally ended this troublesome and tedious negotiation. But the result was also rich. This time, they landed directly on the spot to negotiate, and the content of the negotiation was the migration of the fox people. Migration. How to migrate? Of course, the entire tribe migrates together. Since it is a migration, of course, things must be brought with them. Lin Ke's main purpose is for the fox people and the fox people's mineral veins. In this negotiation, Lin Ke asked for all the fox people tribes in the surface and underground within a radius of 100 kilometers. This of course caused strong opposition from Lux. After a whole day of communication and confrontation, the final result was that things that originally belonged to the fox people could be taken away, but land, prey, and minerals could only be selectively carried. Of course, the range of this selectivity is very large. Regarding this selectivity, it was discussed for another morning before it was finally determined. Lin Ke calculated that he could bring about 100 million tons of ore. The Fox tribe, which has less than 400 million people in total, can carry 100 million tons. That's tons. Lin Ke didn't know whether these people were stupid or really too afraid of Emperor Wumian, but in any case he was very satisfied. Then, they discussed other issues. However, what surprised Lin Ke was that in Lacus's concept, the most was something like human rights protection. Although Lacus was old, he was not like those people who were just sitting around doing nothing. Instead, he felt very kind. Lacus discussed the labor problem of the Fox tribe. He was afraid that after Lin Ke and his men took the Fox tribe away, they would all become slaves and consume them all. Lacus believed that life was not a consumable, especially for creatures with wisdom. As a banana tree person, Lacus was peace-loving by nature and didn't want to see the Fox tribe being exploited and oppressed like this. Therefore, in the place that Lin Ke thought was the most difficult to deal with, it was easy to obtain. After all, minerals were basically useless to banana tree people, so they didn't pay much attention to them, and Romara was even more so. Anyway, it wasn't their family's mine, so she didn't care. The part that Lux thought was the most difficult to deal with was also easily dealt with. After all, for the entire fox race, the benefits of being a citizen far outweigh those of a slave. So, 3 days later, the three signed 3 contracts without any magical aura, marking the end of this incident. The Nasan Fox Tribe Treaty. The 3 forces will keep this oath, while Lin Ke will prepare for the relocation of the Fox Tribe. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.